Clay was annoyed with that. So a little bit of drama. Chris, speaking of drama in the Bay, during the break, I'm scrolling through social media, and there's a clip. There's a new Draymond Green podcast out, right? And it says, Draymond Green said it hurt him to see Jordan Poole get a new contract with the Warriors and not being able to celebrate that accomplishment with him. Okay. And he's talking to Kevon Looney. So to pull back the curtain a little bit, both Kevon Looney and Jordan Poole are from Milwaukee. Oh, okay. So I don't know if they're boys, right, but they have that connection.
Yeah, for sure.
So what a bizarre, it's just, again, it's the self-awareness. And I haven't even heard the clip, to be fair, but I can, read the subtitles and everything like that. And the look on Kevon Looney's face is just, why am I here? What am I here for? Why am I here?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's, there's like a meme that goes around of, I think it's from, I Think You Should Leave, which is a Netflix show with Tim Robinson, I think his name is. And he's like he's like, we're all trying to figure out who's responsible for this. Yeah. And that's Draymond with this Jordan Poole situation where it's like, dude, like, this is all you're doing. Yeah. It was all like, I'm sure Jordan, and we've heard a little insight into, how the punch happened. And, allegedly Jordan Poole was talking a lot of talk, but it all could have been avoided. And I'm sure you're sick of talking about the punch because I know you had to talk about it the entirety of the previous summer before you got here. But it was just so avoidable that, if you're a Warriors fan, you have to just be sick of it. It's like, dude, again, like you said, the self-awareness just is not there. And, that should be no surprise coming from that source.
Yeah. And the whole thing is playing here. And he says, I don't hide my bleep ups. Just like I don't hide my wins.
Oh, yeah? Is that right? Yeah. Did he actually say that? Like, I don't hide my wins?
Yep. Okay. I will. We'll just get the audio for you because it's hilarious.
Chef's kiss.
As we continue the conversation on the NBA Finals, again, Sasha Vezenkov hour starts at 11. We will break everything down. Dan Hurley expected to make his decision for the Lakers. Reports coming out, he will be offered around $100 million. 8 years. So my question is, what's there to think about? What is it? Even if, look, you could cook me in 2 years.
Yeah.
You have to pay me whatever that guarantee. Because I think all coaches, I think all coach contracts are guaranteed.
It's at least like you bake it into where it's like there's some sort of severance package.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, yes.
Maybe you might not get all of it.
But I'll take 70.
Yeah, you can cook me in 2 years.
I'll figure it out.
And I'll go back to UConn. I don't care. And then I'm getting, that's the, you got to get that double income. I know some of y'all are dinking out there. Well, Chris, you're dinking. So, you got to do what you got to do. As we talk about Dan Hurley a little bit later, that's going to drop at some point. And the Celtics beating the Mavs 105-98. Kyrie just looked overwhelmed. We talked a little bit about it on the first side of the show. Chris, do you think it's over?
I think so. I mean, I can't see Dallas winning 4 games. I feel like, they've been a good team, but I do kind of start to wonder a little bit if it's okay. Like, did they maybe just get hot? Like, did they maybe just kind of get fortunate with a couple good PJ Washington? And, I guess maybe that's a little unfair to, in hindsight, say, oh, yeah, maybe they just got lucky. But I more so mean, is this really the guys they are? Or did they just, we dealt with it all King season. Is this who Kevin Huerter is? Or is he just missing shots right now? And at some point he's going to make shots. Right. Did we just see a period of time in which, PJ Washington had a couple good games. Derrick Jones had a couple games where he just made shots.
He was hot from 3.
Like, realistically, was Dallas actually a better team? That I think Minnesota, I think Minnesota was gassed by the time they got to Dallas. But, like, was Dallas actually the better team than OKC, or were they just more locked in? Like, were there guys just hitting shots during that period of time? And it's tough to say that, especially because the Celtics are so good. I feel like they were going to make anybody look bad, but it just really makes me wonder, like, were these guys can you bank on PJ Washington in the next 2-3 years in the playoffs? Or again, was this just a hot stretch? It's really tough to tell, and only time will tell with this Dallas team. Is this who these guys are, or are they just playing really well or played really well for a stretch of time here?
Which brings up the question, and I know we've done it multiple times on this show, but that's because you, the listener, have said, well, why didn't the Kings make any moves? Look at PJ Washington when he was balling out. Look at Gafford when he was balling out. Now the question becomes, you're down 2-0.
Yeah.
You looked overmatched. I don't know what the counter to the Celtics would be. If the Mavs lose, was the trade still worth it? We discuss. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention Marines, military personnel, families, and contractors who were stationed at Camp Lejeune. Were you present at Camp Lejeune between August 1953 and December of 1987? You may be entitled to significant compensation. For nearly 34 years, those in the Marine Corps' base Camp Lejeune were exposed to contaminated drinking water, resulting in devastating injuries, including several forms of cancer, adverse birth outcomes, Parkinson's disease, and more. North Carolina's procedural laws have prevented victims from getting the justice they deserve, but passage of the Camp Lejeune Justice Act of 2022 would allow you or a loved one to file lawsuits seeking compensation for illnesses and injuries linked to the toxic water. Call today for your free consultation. 800-439-4252. Let our experienced attorneys fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-439-4252. That's 800-439-4252. Again, 800-439-4252.
Save on rows and rows of new Hondas during our giant summer sale at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Hurry in and save on our best selection of new Hondas. Each is priced to sell now. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on a giant selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline, Civics, and Accords with low finance and lease options. Get to Folsom Lake Honda or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Award-winning country sensation Lee Brice is back.
One of them girls that ain't trying to meet nobody. You're just here.
Live in concert. Friday, June 28th, 7:30 p.m. The venue at Thunder Valley. Lee Brice. Special guest Abby Anderson. The venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit thundervalleyresort.com. Don't miss Lee Brice live.
I remember as if it were yesterday. I reached down to move a nightstand and was astonished at the weight of the piece. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. At that moment, I instantly recognized the difference between Naturewood's quality furniture that will last a lifetime versus lesser quality furniture found elsewhere. Now, I suppose there's a huge difference in what you'd put in your first apartment and what you would live with in the comfort of your own home. Right now, Naturewood Home Furnishings Made in USA sale is a great time to fill your home with solid, superior quality furniture to reflect your own love for life. With brands like Sam Moore, Stanton, Stickley, Hilltop Hickory, Simply Amish, and many more, Naturewood Home Furnishings has tables, chairs, couches, and, yes, nightstands, and more at their Made in USA sale. Find furniture that will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Wonderful, my magic. Gorillas in the mix.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
That's right. The hit doctor.
Oh, yeah.
Rancho Cordova Little League Padres won their TOCs, Tournament of Champions. Either, 4-0 or 5-0?
4-0, you said.
4-0.
3-0 previous.
For the semis. 4-0 since seeing the hit doctor.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Can't wait to tell Whitey that one.
Yeah.
Get in line. Knob to the baseball. Giving you free information here.
Ma'am.
Knob to the baseball.
Yeah.
Hips, then hands.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll win a TOC
Just one little session,
too.
man. A couple
2
sessions.
hours.
Yeah, a couple sessions.
Hour and 30 on hitting.
Can I book you in the future? Because I know you're going to be booked up. I don't have a kid yet, but 6 years down the line.
Yeah, by that time.
Yeah, so can I get in now? Maybe get a deal?
Are you offering
get
like
normal,
Dan Hurley level money?
Should Nate get the price now or the price that it'll be when he has a job?
I feel like I should get an even bigger discount because, like, you know, we're cool and, like, you know, like we're cool, kind of. Like, you tolerate me.
Yeah. We'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do.
A lot of people reach out to you.
Honestly, get in now because, July it's going to be crazy for me.
Yeah,
it's going to be
nuts.
Hot. Hey, Chris, real quick before we get into this, and we were going to play the Draymond audio, everyone, but there's just a little bit too much cussing
spicy.
for.
He's just making things up.
Yes.
I was just telling you. I was
he felt bad that he didn't get to celebrate. I think Jordan Poole had some sort of party after he got paid, which was after the punch. And Draymond said he was mad that he bleeped everything up and couldn't go to the party.
Yeah. Just incredible. Could you imagine if he would have gone to the party too? Like the instant, like literally like a TV show, the record scratches, stops, Draymond walks in, the entire building turns and looks at him.
Yep.
Oh man. Couldn't pay for that kind of content.
So that's what's going on there as he talks to fellow Milwaukee native Kevon Looney about Jordan Poole. And that really comes up because Draymond was talking about Klay during his exit interview, and Tim Kawakami reported last week that Klay was apparently annoyed by that. And this all helps as far as the Kings is concerned because you get Klay to go to Orlando. That's less money for Malik.
Yeah.
So Orlando has been attached to Klay Thompson. We've actually seen the least amount of coverage for Malik, and that was kind of the hope with all of this, Chris. Malik is not going to be anyone's first choice, I don't think, besides maybe the Pistons, maybe the Jazz, and the Kings, right? So he knows that if Orlando comes calling, it's going to be because something went wrong, maybe to a lesser degree, the other point guard, combo guards, but they're going to go after Klay Thompson. They're going to go after multiple guys because we have this later in the show. As Mark Stein reports that Orlando Magic is a team to monitor for Paul George and Klay Thompson. So Malik Monk knows he's not going to be anybody's number one besides the teams that I just mentioned in probably Detroit and Utah and obviously in Sacramento. So what does that mean for Malik? Does it matter if it's 17 versus 20, but you know Orlando's just giving you the 20 because they didn't get Klay Thompson? Does that matter to you? I don't know. Would it matter to me? Maybe a little bit. Would it matter to me enough to not go? I don't know. Because I do understand that it's a business, not to take it personally. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what I've said from the beginning. I just think that it's going to be a late decision for Malik, and it's going to be what he values. Like, I don't think anybody has a good reference point to what exactly we know he wants money, but is it going to, he also wants to be wanted. And yeah, it's going to be a bit of a shot to the ego to see Orlando in other situations pursue other guys and essentially tell Malik without telling him, you're just not our priority. Like we want you, but we think that there's people who are better than you or better for our situation. Meanwhile, Sacramento's going to be sitting there saying, dang, bro, they treat you like that.
That's your man.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Dang, $5 million for your dang. I mean, me personally, not me, but if that's cool. If you want to sit there and wait and be somebody's leftovers, that's cool. We want you. But it's gonna be what Malik wants to view. And I could definitely see a situation where he says, look, these guys offered, like, how many times do even high school recruits, they'll say, yeah, I had school XYZ, Alabama, Georgia, but these guys called when no one else was calling.
That's right.
I value that. And I just think that you can't, it's an individual basis. You can't really tell what somebody prioritizes until they let you know. And I think people might be surprised. We might not be surprised by what we hear. Malik wants the bag. But I think we might be surprised to find out Malik kind of wants to be wanted.
Well, Darren told him he wants the bag. I don't really know if you heard Malik.
That's true. We have not heard Malik directly say.
Because free agents. So when free agency
put
starts,
himself in a good situation.
Right.
That's all he said.
First day of free agency, when his phone rings, that call, I don't think is going to be from the Magic.
I don't think
and
so.
It's not going to be from
Not
the
with an
Sixers.
offer, yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
going to be from the Pistons.
Hey,
It's going
big
to
fella,
be
hold on.
from the Jazz, maybe the Spurs. So
Yeah.
we know the types of teams that he's going to be number one on. We thought the Magic were going to be on that list,
Mhm.
but now the Magic are this Paul George thing.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the one that doesn't make you feel bad because it's Paul George and I know what he brings to the table. But if I'm Malik and I know he has 4 rings, but if Klay Thompson in some of these reports, I saw Marcus Thompson saying that somebody might pay Klay 20 to 40 million. Good luck. Good luck if you want to do that. Chris, bringing it back to the NBA Finals in a question that we posed before we went to break. 916-339-1140. Going to open up the phone lines on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Because Chris, I said this, and I don't think we initially agreed. So this PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford thing, obviously they gave up some picks. They gave up a good bit for PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford, right? So the whole thing was, first of all, it was a bad trade. Then it wasn't a bad trade because they got to the finals. And here you go. Dallas Mavericks have swung a deal for PJ Washington, sending the Hornets a package centered around Grant Williams, Seth Curry, and a top 2 protected first-round pick in 2027. So 1 first-rounder and 2 guys that are still, rotation pieces in the NBA. So at first, the conversation was that it was a bad deal, right? Then you get to the finals, and now it wasn't a bad deal. But my question to you and to everyone listening is, if they don't win the finals, what does that do for the deal? Because you sold your future a little bit on one pick, and we'll get the Gafford trade up as well. And you're now down 2-0.
Yeah.
And you're probably not going to win the finals. Let's say you don't win the finals. Was that trade still worth it?
Well, what'd they make the trade for? What was the purpose of their trade? Like, what was their goal when they made the trade?
I would say to quote unquote win now.
But they're in the. They're one of 2 teams that are still playing.
But that's my question.
All you can do is
that
get there.
Is that a success?
Absolutely. Getting to the finals and in a half a season of this team together, they're in the finals.
Right.
I think that's successful. I still don't love the process of trading. They don't have any picks past, I think, 2026. And Luka is a free agent in 26, and definitely a finals appearance helps massage that for sure. He'll more than likely re-sign unless things go really, really bad in the next couple of years. But you make those deals to put yourself in a situation to win the NBA Finals, and they're in the finals. And it's 0-2 for sure, but they could be down 2-1 after the next game. And I don't think they're going to win, but I think you do all of these things to put you in a position to do it. And if that's your all-in move, at least it got you to the place where an all-in move should get you to. I don't necessarily think that there's a ton of staying power with this team in terms of, like I said earlier, like, did PJ Washington just get hot, or is this who he's going to be every single year in the playoffs? I have some doubts about that being who he is. But at the end of the day, you made the moves, and at least for this season, you correctly looked at your team and said, what do we need? How do we get it? And then got it, and it worked out. I just feel like you have to say that's a success. And, moving forward, it can definitely change, as I think everything does. But I think for what they were trying to do when they made the move, it's mission accomplished.
For Gafford, the Mavs gave up Rashawn Holmes and a 2024 first-round pick from the Mavs, right? So in total, to get Gafford and PJ Washington, they gave up Seth Curry. They gave up a 2027 first-round pick. They gave up Grant Williams. They gave up Rashawn Holmes, and they gave up a 2024 first-round pick. Was it worth it even if they lose the finals? It's tough, but honestly, based on if you look at what the Mavericks have left, because the whole thing is, if you lose, can you still improve next season or this off season? And it feels like you're a little bit more strapped. That's why they get paid the big bucks. You could figure out a way to do it. Because my whole thing is, okay, if you gave up the farm, and I wouldn't even necessarily call this the farm,
right?
Totally.
But it's what they had.
It's what they had. But if it's not enough, how do they then get better again?
Yeah, no, I mean, again, I think that's still a very, very relevant question, and it's what's going to end up shaping the overall viewpoint of this trade. But I just think, in general, like I just have a tough time saying that the trade is a failure because they don't win the finals. I just think, even if in 2 years you have these guys, they plateau and they can never get better, at the very least, they built a team that can get to the finals. I think that's, again, I say it all the time, like only one team can win, and all you can do is put yourself in a position to potentially win. The Celtics got here because all these guys get hurt. Again, you just have to tell yourself, give me a chance, get me in the dance, and then crazy things happen. Porzingis, again, limping at the end of game 2. You never know if he's going to be out. Knock on wood, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, those guys go out, the door all of a sudden is open for Dallas, and you can run right through it. So it's still going to move and shake the same way the Tyrese Sabonis trade has moved and shook. And I just think that right here, right now, if you're asking me, I'm going to say it's success because they are where they hoped to be.
Well, if the Celtics do win this thing, the question will be who is the finals MVP. And Bob Myers gives an quote-unquote interesting take on that. We will play that for you when we return. Also, Dan Hurley looks to make his decision.
We've got some breaking news when we come back.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
Going deep down the sideline for Ayuk. He's got it, and he's gone. 10, 5, touchdown! San Francisco! Ayuk is on fire!
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more. And then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Febreze. So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
We all know what UV rays can do to our skin, but they can also do damage to your car. Keep that from happening with 303 Protectant. 303 Protectant keeps the sun's harmful rays from causing fading and cracking in rubber, plastic, or vinyl surfaces. From the dashboard to the tires, 303 Protectant keeps your car looking new longer. Get 303 Protectant today at Advanced Auto Parts. Visit 303radio.com for more information.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close-by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe. When it breaks,
We have it first.
it's Sactown Sports breaking news.
This one's from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, the news that we were all waiting for over the weekend. I don't know. This is crazy. Connecticut's Dan Hurley has turned down the Los Angeles Lakers' 6-year, $70 million offer and will return to chase a third straight national title, sources tell ESPN. LA would have made him one of the NBA's 6th highest paid coaches. After a dogged pursuit of Hurley over the past few weeks, Lakers will regroup and resume bringing in candidates for interviews with the hopes of hiring a coach by the draft, sources said. James Borrego is expected to remain part of the group, and Lakers could do their first formal interview with JJ Redick. That is all from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. Connecticut's Dan Hurley has turned down the Lakers job after much speculation that he would just take it. It was pretty much all but a formality over the weekend, and I wonder how many people are surprised to learn that Dan said no.
Maybe he got a leak that LeBron wanted JJ.
I think I love college basketball all of a sudden. I just have an urge to be a Connecticut fan.
Well, the question is,
it's a tough look.
Let's just make this very simple. Do you think he made the right decision? I don't, and I don't know what UConn's paying him. I'm sure he's making a couple million.
I'm sure he's making pretty penny for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of, not to cop out, but it definitely is a cop out. But it kind of, again, much like I just said about Malik, it kind of depends on what's important to you. Like, I think that there's something great about the stability of college basketball. Like, John Calipari hasn't won. He's won one title, and it was with Anthony Davis all that time ago, and he's been coasting off that since. Dan Hurley's got back-to-back titles. I feel like that man's got that job at UConn for as long as he lives.
Lifetime contract.
It sucks to, like, deal with college kids and, like, have the constant turnaround and deal with NIL and deal with, the transfer portal and all that, but it's pretty good job. Pretty good job.
It really depends what you want out of life. Hurley signed a 6-year, $32.1 million contract after the 2023 championship season. So he's making 32 mil, which is nothing to sneeze at. So 32 and comfortable versus 70 mil and the opposite of comfortable. Because
I'm sure this gets him an extension. If I'm him, I walk into that 80s office and I say, you see what I just turned down?
You see what I just turned down, but okay.
You see what I'm worth in the open market?
Is that another 10? I mean, you're still UConn. You're not the Lakers.
No.
So what is that? Not. Hey, just give me 10 mil more.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's all right, more than you were making before.
Let's just assume 10 mil. Maybe it could be more. Get some boosters. Okay.
Yeah.
And hey, give me the, what he probably says is 32 mil, right? And that was a 6-year deal. Give me the 50 mil.
Yeah.
Give me the 50 mil, and we don't even have to have these conversations anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. And build me a statue when I'm done, and just make sure I never have to pay for any food ever again. And I think you're solid. Like I get it. Like, coaching NBA sounds obviously stressful as hell. It's a lot more pressure than college basketball, but I think that there's a lot of comfort in it, man. And being the Lakers coach, it's not being the Cavaliers coach. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of eyeballs. The second you do something wrong, it's all your fault, especially when you're coaching Bron and AD.
Yeah.
I just think, and the Laker brand in general, I think that there's so many things that are out of your hands, even though the Lakers were talking sweet with him and telling him, oh, yeah, you come here and we'll just be a glorified college program. You can do whatever you want. You're the one in charge. Look, I mean, the Lakers had this whole plan of having Lonzo, Julius Randle, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart. It goes on and on and on. Alex Caruso, all the great young players they had, they threw it out the window in one offseason because LeBron wanted to go play with AD. It won him a championship, but are the Lakers in a better place right now than they would have been had they kept 80% of that core? Things change really quickly in LA, and I think that probably factored a good bit into Dan Hurley's decision. You're only in charge until you're no longer in charge there.
Again, if you're just now joining us, thank you for joining us. Connecticut's Dan Hurley has turned down the Los Angeles Fakers 6 years, $70 million offer. We had heard, and maybe that was part of it too, right? You're already making, and excuse me, earlier I said give me the 50 and get me halfway.
Yeah.
You did not get offered that $100 million deal. It was reported 8 years, $100 million. That's not what was actually offered. 6 years, $70 million. So that is a huge difference to me. Again, for people that we don't touch millions, at least not yet. Fastest growing show in Sacramento. But okay, I'm at 6 years, $32 million, all the leverage in the world, no headache at UConn, or I take, a nice pay raise to go to LA. Always looking over my back. My blood pressure will probably be worse, and I'm probably going to get canned within the first 3 years if I don't win a championship.
Yeah.
And now I have a stain. I have more money, but now I have the stain of a firing, which coaches get fired as part of it. But I'd rather not have that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because, I mean, we're all human. Like, we're all going to look at it and say,
this ain't Charlotte.
No.
This ain't Charlotte.
No. And he's also going to be tasked with, hey, yeah, you don't have to coach LeBron, but you got to coach LeBron Jr.
Yeah.
Like, LeBron might be out in 2 years, but we're drafting Bronny, and as crazy as it is, especially the retroactive reporting or looking back at the reporting now is even more insane because people were straight up reporting like a big part of the pitch for Dan Hurley is that he can, groom Bronny, and they're going to take Zach Edey or whatever.
Because he shouldn't be in the draft.
He
shouldn't be in the draft. So because
kid.
He's still coming out of the draft because he just has to. We need to draft a college coach so he can continue college as a Los Angeles Laker.
Yes, exactly. And I'm sure Dan Hurley heard that, and he was like, I'm good.
So I'm going to be connected to a prospect that may or may not have even gotten drafted if his daddy wasn't LeBron James.
Yep.
And if he doesn't do well, it's probably going to look bad on me.
It's going to be your fault.
Or I could stay in UConn and probably because of you guys get another 10, 20 mil. I think
literally
I'm solid.
have that job for life, dude.
I think I'm solid.
He's literally never going to leave that job. I mean, that is the benefit of being a college basketball coach 100%. Is that especially after you do something like turn down the Lakers head coaching job, the boosters, like you said, like they're going to hand over fist. Whatever you want is all yours. You're not going to have any problem getting NILs, nothing. And he's actually a winner too. I understand why he would stay. And, I kind of joked about it earlier, but I'll ask it like, do you think this is at all a bad look on the Lakers, or is this, do you think, just a individual decision?
I think the Lakers.
How much is he looking at the landscape of the Lakers?
I think if it was, I think money talks, and I think that if I'm Dan Hurley, in maybe a year or two, whether I win another championship or not, Texas at some point is going to need a new coach. Okay, these big money schools, somebody's going to need a new coach, and the decision to not offer him $100 million could come back to haunt the Lakers, especially after it leaked. Why it leaked, we never know why anything leaks, or maybe we do. But I think if it's $100 million, maybe he thinks about it. If I'm Dan Hurley, I can get an extension from UConn. I can play this out, and I can get $70 million from Texas in 2 years.
Yeah, guaranteed.
I could get $100 million from USC in 2 years. Why am I gonna deal with this Lakers circus if it's not for $100 million?
Well, and the question too is like, what do the Lakers want from their coach? Like, especially, again, if you're in Dan Hurley's seat and you're saying, okay, well, what happened to the previous people who were in my position? And he's going to say, Frank Vogel, well, why did he get fired? He won a championship, and then 2 years later, he was fired. Darvin Ham made this miracle run last year, and whatever, he got no credit for it, but the Lakers went from from irrelevance to, they made it as a 7 seed and then made it to the conference finals. He gets fired the next season. So if you're Dan Hurley, you're saying, what the hell do I got to do to keep this job?
Yeah, I'm not really seeing this ending with a happy ending. I don't really know how that
James
would work.
Are you ready to be the next Los Angeles Lakers coach?
And now JJ Redick is back.
But now, what happens if JJ turns this down? What if JJ comes out at the end of the season and says, I just kind of, am just barely scratching the surface on this broadcasting thing. I just did my first finals. Like, I think I'm going to give this a couple more years at it. Me and Braun got the pod. It's doing great. The sponsors on the pod, I'm making just as much as I would if I were a coach. Why am I going to be a coach?
Let me ask you this. If you're Mike Brown this morning, right, who can get up to, can get up to 10 million?
I think it was up to 10,
Yes, because it was 3 years, 30 million.
Yeah, that's so long ago.
With the incentives, but it's really about 8.5 million. They were going to pay Dan Hurley, who's never coached in the NBA, $11 million a year.
Without even thinking about it.
So do you feel annoyed about this if you're Mike Brown, or is it just, hey, that's the Lakers tax, they're going to be able to pay more money?
It's probably the Lakers tax. I hope that's how Mike Brown is taken. And Mike Brown knows that Lakers situation, so hopefully he understands that they just operate differently. I would hope so. I'm sure maybe you're looking at your agent a little sideways and saying like, hey man, like how does that happen? And I have to scratch and claw to get my way up to 10 mil. But I think you should be happy with your money and understand that those fools are desperate. And the Kings have been desperate in the past, but thankfully they aren't joining in on this coaching search either.
It's Sasha time.
Oh man.
Sasha wants out. We break it all down, how we got here from beginning to end. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Subscribe to Sactown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sactown Sports.
I remember as if it were yesterday. I reached down to move a nightstand and was astonished at the weight of the piece. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. At that moment, I instantly recognized the difference between Naturewood's quality furniture that will last a lifetime versus lesser quality furniture found elsewhere. Now, I suppose there's a huge difference in what you'd put in your first apartment and what you would live with in the comfort of your own home. Right now, Naturewood Home Furnishings Made in USA sale is a great time to fill your home with solid, superior quality furniture to reflect your own love for life. With brands like Sam Moore, Stanton, Stickley, Hilltop Hickory, Simply Amish, and many more, Naturewood Home Furnishings has tables, chairs, couches, and, yes, nightstands, and more at their Made in USA sale. Find furniture that will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
It's the ride everybody wants to be driving, and Elk Grove Kia has them in stock right now. I'm talking about the 2024 Kia Telluride. And my friends at Elk Grove Kia can get you behind the wheel of a 2024 Telluride SX for only $419 a month, plus taxes and fees. Whenever I see one of these driving down the road or next to me at a red light, I just stop and admire it because the Kia Telluride just looks iconic. And not only is the Kia Telluride beautiful, it's got room for the whole family. There's a seating capacity for up to 7 passengers. Plus, it's loaded with tech. So is the 2024 Kia Telluride the right ride for you and your family? Come on down to Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall. Give it a test drive. And just a heads up, when you're here at Elk Grove Kia, you're going to be treated very well. You're not going to get this kind of car buying experience in Roseville, Vacaville, Sacramento, or Davis. That's why Elk Grove Kia has so many 5-star reviews. Again, check them out in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online, elkgrovekia.com. 24-month lease, $0 security deposit, 20 cents per mile over 10,000 miles per year, $4,999 due at signing based on approval of credit. VIN number 501850, ends June 30th, 2024.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards concert tickets for your daughter to see that singer who sings about painful breakups. And one song will inspire your little beauty to break up with that beast she's dating, Brian. Instead, she'll date someone who's nice and worthy of her love, not someone who addresses you and your spouse as bro. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Sponsored by Xfinity. Enjoy the entertainment you love with the Xfinity Stream app. Turn any screen into a TV and take the entertainment you love wherever you go. Xfinity, we connect you to more of what you love.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Take it on the local level.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It is time. Sasha Vezenkov, Chris, where were you? Do you remember where you were when Sasha Vezenkov said he wanted out of Sacramento?
Yes, I do. I was exiting my bed at 10 o'clock in the morning or whatever it was. Yeah. It wasn't quite what I expected to wake up to. There wasn't really much in terms of like crumbs leading to this. I mean, I think you might have, I feel like I heard you say, we've heard, or we kind of had, I don't know what the right phrasing is, but we had through some channels, like had some sort of understanding that Sasha wasn't thrilled with his playing time throughout the year, but never did we hear expressly that he wanted out of this situation. Right. Of course, when you're not getting minutes and you literally move your entire life across the world, there's a certain level of expectation of, okay, like they want me, I'm going to get an opportunity. It's in everyone's best interest to see what we have here.
Yes.
And then for it to be, for all intents and purposes, like very forgettable. I think in 3 to 4 years, we're going to, oh my gosh, I forgot
it's crazy.
Sasha was here, Yeah, it just kind of, life comes quickly, man.
We'll get into whether or not it's a bad look for the Kings. I had some people saying it was a bad look for Coach Mike Brown.
Of course people said that.
Monty McNair, Vivek, everybody that was involved in this courting process and where we are now, whether or not there is blame to go around. So you're waking up on Saturday morning, and shout out to Euro Hoops. I thought I had to confirm it. Yes. And my first post was still waiting to confirm because they have a decent following, but it was random and I hadn't seen anybody else post it yet. Right. It got confirmed pretty quickly. Sasha Vezenkov has informed the Sacramento Kings that he doesn't intend to return for the second year of his contract. For now, it's open whether he will continue his career in the NBA or he will decide to return to Europe. And that's not really how contracts work there, Sasha. And he clearly was upset. There were reports that, honestly, Chris and I had, and, there were crumbs. I don't know that they were enough to say, oh, my goodness, this is what happened and this is why it happened. But we heard that there was a game or two where Sasha, in his native language, was upset after games, and he was talking very loudly, and there were people that surmised that it was about playing time or it was about the current situation. And all of the things we discussed with Sasha are true. You're moving to a completely different country. You have all these things going on. So to do all of that and then ride pine, I'd be pretty upset too. I was never very excited when I was not playing. And I can only imagine how these hyper-competitive professional athletes are in those situations as well. Chris, and we're going to open up the phone lines. Your initial thoughts on the Sasha news. This is the Sasha segment of the show. We're going to be talking about all the different angles of this. This is from Keith Smith, NBA, friend of the station,
yes, sir,
contributor to the Front Office show. Keith Smith says he can't, as somebody asked him, hey, Keith Smith, wouldn't Sasha have to retire to get out of his contract to go back to Europe? What are the impacts to the Kings cap situation? And by the way, before I read this, just to shut it down, I saw it on the text line. Can that money be used for Malik Monk? No. Answer is no. So thank you for asking. A couple people have asked, not just Chris and I, but the other members of Sactown Sports as well, from Frankie to Brandon. And we have a group chat going, so we were just kind of discussing all that because a lot of people were asking us. The answer is no. Okay, to this Keith Smith response, Sasha, can't just unilaterally decide to leave the Kings. They'd have to waive him. He's got a guaranteed contract at $6.6 million for 2024-2025, and then the Kings hold a team option for 2025-2026 for $6.9 million. Sacramento controls this process, not Vezenkov. Retiring then signing overseas might not work because FIBA likely wouldn't clear a new deal. Not sure how they plan to pull this off unless there's something I'm missing or the Kings and Vezenkov have some deal in place for him to make his deal non-guaranteed and Sacramento waives him. Or the Kings or another team after a trade just eat his $6.6 million for this season. So why would he do this?
I mean, I still have some confusion on, not confusion, but I think, like I said earlier, I think that there's been a little bit of a misunderstanding, if I had to get, not misunderstanding, but I think how this went is that the Kings probably told Sasha, you're not in the plans for next season, and we're going to look to move you. And then Sasha tells reporters that, I mean, that's the only way that this could work out.
It's the only way it makes sense.
Yeah, like it doesn't make, like Sasha can go to the Kings and say, hey, I want out, but then the reporting should be Sasha Vezenkov is requesting to move on from Sacramento. Not, I mean, yeah, it's just the wording of the reporting is super strange because, yeah, Sasha doesn't, sorry, but he doesn't have any control in this situation whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like the Kings, he's signed under contract, so he's at the very least playing in the NBA next season. Like Keith said, maybe he can go to a situation where they have tons of cap space, trade him there, and then they cut him. That's a different situation, and that could maybe be how this works out. But either way, that's the Kings making a trade and getting something back. So at the very least, I heard this and I thought, well, this is a guarantee that the Kings are at the very least making a move this offseason. Like this, it could be a Chris Duarte level deal. It could be, you know, as I made those Kuzma Levine trades last week, take out Trey Lyles, put in Sasha Vezenkov. They make pretty much the same exact money. And if anything, I mean, Sasha's a more guaranteed to be expiring. He wants out. That's also a really good situation for him. So I just think from the Kings perspective, you're saying, okay, I mean, that's definitely unfortunate. We wanted to see what we had in you, but we were going to, yeah, okay. That just more confirms for us you will be in a deal for us.
But are you saying that the Kings initially came to Sasha? Or are you just saying that could have happened?
I'm saying that could have happened. I have no reporting on that or anything.
But either way, Sasha probably saw the writing on the wall. You know,
I'm just thinking like an exit interview or something. They said, obviously, this season didn't go how we went.
You got a lot of work to do. Yeah.
I think if we can find a better situation for you, we will, for both parties involved. And I think maybe Sasha took that and ran with it and probably, you know, there's a bit of ego here as well, I think, where Sasha was the European MVP and probably goes back to Europe. People ask him what happened, and he says, "Oh man, like don't get me started. I'm done over there. I'm out. And it wouldn't surprise me if a bit of this is maybe possibly Sasha did maybe tell a reporter that I'm getting out of there. And making it sound like I'm the one in power.
Well, it got out somehow, and now, I had somebody respond to me after a couple of the things that I posted, and they said, Mike Brown resigns, and then this comes out. Do you think there's any connection there?
There is, boo-hoo.
Well, but I've been on the train coming in a little bit later. I didn't see the whole courting.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see Mike Brown going overseas, and just from essentially an outside perspective, that it doesn't look like Mike Brown wants to play that guy.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't look like that's a Mike Brown guy. And some people said it even made Mike Brown look bad. And I didn't necessarily think that, because to me, we don't know how Sasha, and we're going to go through the timeline here on the other side of how Sasha arrived in Sacramento. But to me, if somebody says, hey, you gotta take this guy, this is one of our guys, and it's coming from either the higher ups to some degree, and Mike Brown didn't really have a say in it. I saw somebody say Mike Brown flew all the way out there, and my answer to that person, if you're listening to this, is, do we know that he wanted to?
Yeah, right.
Do we know that he wanted to do we know that he wanted to court Sasha?
Absolutely not. No.
We do not know that.
No.
But what we do know is that
know.
Once Sasha was on the team, Mike Brown wasn't necessarily pressed to play him.
I think blaming Mike Brown is that to me is just people trying to blame Mike Brown for another thing that's just not really his fault. Like, I mean, are we blaming if Dante Exum leaves after this season with the Mavericks and says, hey, like, I hit that game winner in Sacramento at the end of the, like, I felt like I had a big role with this team, and then once the playoffs started, he just stopped playing me, so I want out of Dallas. Are they going to be mad at Jason Kidd? No. Like, no. So what are we, like, I'm sorry, but if the 8th player or whatever, 9th, 10th man on a roster is upset that he didn't get playing time and wants out, that's called no, people are going to be upset with their playing time. I don't necessarily think that that's some sign that Mike Brown's a terrible coach or anything like that. To me, it's just, that's what happens. There was a really excited, like, people were honestly just as excited about this European not prospect, he's 30 years old, but Micic was this huge name that finally came over this year to OKC. OKC freaking traded him at the deadline for Gordon Hayward. Nobody said anything about it. So I think that it's just a bit of a stretch. Like Sasha Vezenkov, I'm sorry, he's not a relevant player to this roster.
Okay, yes. Sidebar, OKC did say that was a miss on our part.
Sure, they missed on Gordon Hayward, but nobody's upset that Micic got no minutes in OKC.
Right.
So I just think that this is a very centralized problem. I think people outside of Sacramento look at this and just say, oh, man, yeah, that Euro MVP never worked out. Nobody's pointing fingers to Mike Brown and saying Mike Brown is the reason why it didn't work out. People blame the individual.
From the 916, I like what little I've seen from Sasha.
Yeah.
The whole Sasha Vezenkov thing has been driving me crazy from the get-go. Teams start rookies from college with less pedigree. Whose fault is it for not giving him playing time? This season is set up, or I should say was set up, for him to start in place of Harrison Barnes or Herter. I'm not sure.
I liked what I saw from Sasha, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Sasha starting is what you want. We can agree that Sasha deserved more time and a longer runway from the get-go. And maybe I'd feel differently, I guess, to your point, 916. But I'm looking at the playoffs here, and I'm seeing from what I've seen from Sasha, I think he could have been in the rotation, but Sasha as a starter, I don't think that's the fish that you're trying to get to turn this team into a true contender.
And what's that doing? If Sasha gets more playing time this year, are the Kings a 6 seed? Are they a 5 seed?
And let's not forget, sometimes there's bad timing involved as well. Sasha hurt both ankles, and one of those ankle injuries was when Trey Lyles was injured. So it's the whole chain. You had Harrison Barnes, who you were looking for somebody to take Harrison Barnes' spot, right? Trey Lyles wasn't able to do that. Trey Lyles gets injured. Okay, Sasha, what do you got? And that was a perfect time. That was right before the last.
Have been better, right?
That was right before the last stretch of the season. And that's nobody's fault. But it was a combination of things that went wrong from Sasha, or for Sasha, out here in Sacramento. And again, you're trying to build, and I think Sasha's and I'm on record saying Sasha's defense was better than I think we expected. But ultimately,
the offense was worse than we expected.
The offense was a little bit more limited.
Yeah.
I mean, the man doesn't dribble. He doesn't dribble.
He also has never seen a shot he doesn't like.
That's right. That's right. And he would hit him. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But when you talk about and maybe some of that is fit. Okay,
Yeah,
he can.
for sure.
He was supposed to be a cutter. Didn't see him cut that much. Again, limited playing time. But maybe this isn't the best offense for what Sasha does.
Right.
In theory, it is. But if you're literally just going to sit on the perimeter and shoot all day and be a average at best defender, Mike Brown isn't going to love that. So I think it was a rough fit from the get-go. And here we are. Coming up next, we will discuss the full timeline, opening up the phone lines. How do you feel about Sasha Vezenkov? Really surprised nobody has said yet, honor your contract. You're supposed to honor your contract. We got Sasha Vezenkov pulling the James Harden and Kevin Durant. What type of Looneyville is this? Know your role. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The only place you'll find Keegan Murray is Sactown Sports.
Out to Keegan Murray, straight away for three, and Keegan knocks down the triple.
Hey Sacramento, it's Keegan Murray, and you're listening to the home of Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Hey, it's Carmichael Day for my good friends at American Energy. Now, I've told you this before, but this is what we call extending a good deal. Right now, American Energy Heat and Air is offering an HVAC diagnostic for $99. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Never mind. They're offering it free. It's a $99 value, but you get it for $0. Let the American Energy team test your system connections and all the moving parts of that system to ensure that it's functioning properly. Now, this is a limited time offer. Call today to schedule your appointment at 916-520-9990. Speak to the company that has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau that's been making the greater Sacramento area proud since 1981. 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Sasha Vezenkov wants out, and Dan Hurley doesn't want in to the Lakers coaching job. Dan Hurley has turned down 6 years, $70 million to stay in UConn, where he is being paid $32 million for the next 6 years. He signed that last season. So Dan Hurley is probably going to go to UConn and say, I'll take $10 million more, and we can just all hang out and sing Kumbaya as the Lakers will continue their search with a couple names still floating around, and they're not running out of time, but you definitely would think that they're trying to lock this thing down before the draft, hopefully before the draft.
Can I'm going to read you this tweet that just came out from Anthony Irwin, who is the person who actually initially kind of reported the 8-year, $100 million figure for Dan Hurley. He says, in a series of tweets, I don't know how Pelinka remains employed after this. 6 years, $70 million is pretty paltry offer given what they were asking him to leave behind. That 8 for $100 deal was pretty clearly leaked as a target. I'd heard the Lakers were willing to go that high, but this final offer is pretty surprising. Yeah. So that's really interesting, almost sounding like there's two different reporting or maybe two different sources going on there. Maybe Anthony got his sources more from upper management, like ownership, and ownership maybe was willing to go to a certain price. But if I'm reading that correctly, it kind of sounds like Anthony's saying Rob Pelinka could have gone to the 8-year $100 million, but instead, I don't know if you could say it's trying to get a deal, maybe wasn't as committed as some of the ownership was, but sounds like it was a conscious decision for Rob Pelinka to offer what they offered, and ultimately I think it just wasn't enough for him to leave the situation he's got.
Yeah, and it just doesn't make a ton of sense to me, just based on what other coaches in the NCAA are making. Chris, this was a couple coaches ago for the Longhorns, okay? Coach, this was Chris Beard. They had signed him. Again, they've moved off of him.
Yeah.
7 years, $35 million. Whew. That's Texas. And that's, Chris Beard, who had done some good things with Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Imagine if Dan Hurley, you have to
Yeah.
get Dan Hurley from UConn, right, in 2 years. And let's say they win again. Let's say they go to the final. All you got to do is go to the Sweet 16 these next couple of years. And if Texas or one of these big money schools doesn't do well, if you're willing to give 7 years, $35 million to Chris Beard, what are you willing to give Dan Hurley coming off of what he refused to leave behind in LA, and he's still at UConn? So I mean, even if it's 50 mil with no headache.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. And I can't imagine the kind of things that Texas can offer outside of your actual contract, where like it's, again, free cars, free meals, free everything for the rest of your life. Dude's going to be set up. I mean, and I still think, we talked about it a bit on Friday. I do wonder how much of this is going to end up biting Hurley in the butt maybe later, because like we said, Jay Wright used to be a really poppin' head coaching candidate. He no longer has got his name in circulation. John Calipari for a couple of years definitely was, even here in Sacramento, was thought to maybe be a potential head coach. You're only the hot name for a couple of years, and if Dan Hurley's turning down this gig, it might not come back again. Even if he does continue to win national championships, teams might just say, well, if he turned down the Lakers in that 6 years, 70, the Charlotte Hornets definitely aren't going to offer that to you. So this could be a situation where, maybe Hurley is set up for 4 or 5 years, but maybe he could have been a long-term NBA coach, or at least gotten his name, as we've seen. It's just about getting your name in the carousel. And once you're in the carousel,
you want to be in the carousel.
It's Vogel, it's Budenholzer, it's all these guys. They just kind of recycle.
Who's gotten kicked off the carousel? Mark Jackson. But besides Mark Jackson, once you're in the carousel, who's the biggest name that doesn't feel like they're still in the carousel? Send the names in 916-339-1140. Call line, text line, and the Sac chat as well on YouTube. Who is off the carousel? Chris, speaking of Texas, did you see a couple days ago Lamborghini as an NIL promotion? No, Chris, their Lamborghinis lined up for the recruiting weekend. They didn't give them the Lambos.
But like to rent for the week, like for the recruiting visits?
Well, it was, hey, you come here and do an NIL deal with Lamborghini, or you could do it. And Chris, there's about 6 Lamborghinis. What? They got the doors, they got everything, Chris. So if they're doing that for the kids, what do you think Texas would be willing to give Dan Hurley whenever that time comes?
My goodness.
916-339-1140, getting back into the Sasha Vezenkov conversation. Need to hear from TC, wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, TC? Hope you had a good weekend. What you got for us?
Yeah, man. I had a good weekend, man. What's up with my bros, man?
Just chilling, man.
Yep, chilling now.
All right, just vibing. Hey, so look, I got a little bit on Sasha, right? So not only does that make it that much more juicier to make for that Kuzma trade with Sasha, man, he just opened up the door for to make that deal that much more juicier. For whatever move we're trying to make, he can be on top of that trade package. You hear me?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
In my opinion, but also on the flip side, Alan, I get what you're saying too. Like, hey, wait a minute, Sasha didn't really get a fair shake. His minutes was kind of weird. It was this and that, up and down. That's what Mike has to work on as a coach, bro. You have to work on your rotations. But it all wasn't on Mike. It's like, Sasha, you had your shot, bro. You didn't like. We flew overseas. We had everybody in the organization, from the ball boy to the reporters, Alan and Chris. I thought they had y'all overseas watching this dude, bro. Yeah. The way they sent everybody, dog.
Guarantee you they did not.
Bro, listen. So, hey, Sasha, the whole organization was behind you, bro, and they thought you was going to be Luka 2.0. But when you got over here, bro, you showed something different, and that rubbed everybody the wrong way. Like, you know what, bro? This dude isn't it, bro. He's not going to really get no playing time. And I don't blame the team, bro. So I'm kind of like, I can feel what Sasha said, but on the flip side, I definitely feel what the organization is feeling like, bro. We thought you were going to be a different dude, bro. You're not that guy. We did a lot to get you over here. You held us out a whole year, didn't know what you wanted to do, and then when we finally got you over here, this is what you showed us. So you know what, bro? You're not going to be in a rotation, and you're going to be traded. So Monty, Vivek, Mike, grant this guy his wishes and put him in that trade package and move on, bro. As simple as that.
Thanks for the call, TC. And everybody is saying, hey, just trade him, trade him, trade him. Here's the problem. There's no problem with it, right? As I fired up some Sasha Vezenkov highlights, and it's exactly what he was in the I just saw him take 5 dribbles. That's the first time I saw that, and then he passed out of it. But I did not see a lot of different pieces to his game than what we saw. So if he played more, would we have seen more or just more of the same? That's the question. As far as the trade situation, everybody wants to throw him in trade packages. You know what the problem is with that? Now he's just assumed. Okay, so his value as far as a singular piece, he is going to be in any deal that the Kings, he's going to be assumed to be in any deal that the Kings look to do. So it's not, and that's a problem with this leverage thing when something like this comes out, because other teams are going to say, well, we know Sasha wants out, so give him to us, and then give us so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. So he's not going to be viewed differently because he wants out, in my opinion. It doesn't add to his trade value. Hopefully he doesn't do anything to his trade value, but it probably takes away from his trade value.
Maybe a little bit, yeah, but I still think he has some value. I think some team will want to, try and see what he would look like in their system. I ultimately didn't think he had much trade value in the first place, but he definitely still has some, and I think it's not like he's just a sunk cost now. I think, teams definitely know he wants out, but I don't necessarily think that it's going to tank his value enough to where he's just a throw-in. I still think he's going to hold some weight in the trade.
I just saw something, Chris. He got the ball on the post, right on the baseline. Yeah. And did a fadeaway over some guy who might have been 6 foot. He just weren't opportunities for him to do stuff like that. And maybe part of it is that he just didn't play enough. The 925 says Sasha has no trade value. We wouldn't say no, but the question is, I think it's somewhere between it dropped and people still want to see what he can do. And now that he's said he wants out, that does change some things a little bit. Coming up next, we continue the conversation. We give you the Sasha timeline, and then we react to everything that went down. Whose fault is it that Sasha wants out? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Let's face it, nothing makes you look older than you really are than thinning hair. But what if you could not only increase your hair count, but promote new hair growth without surgery, without drugs with potential side effects, and without a prescription from your doctor? Well, now you can, thanks to a breakthrough new supplement called Hair Grow, provided by New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Europe. Hair Grow is now available in the U.S. Only Hair Grow contains Tocogaya, a powerful antioxidant that has received a U.S. patent. Multiple clinical studies show Hair Grow is safe and effective in promoting new hair growth. In one study, 95% of the patients using Hair Grow saw increased hair count. Don't lose more time and more hair. Try Hair Grow today to feel and look your best. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS. Look younger and feel more confident with Hair Grow by New Nordic at NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close-by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Coach Doug Christie here to remind you, if you're in the market for a new car, shop Folsom Lake Kia. Low interest rates, low payments, and 0 down deals with approval of credit. Folsom Lake Kia, over 25 years, right here in Folsom.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Sasha Vezenkov. By the way, we got this news on Friday. It's probably going to drop tomorrow. That is what is assumed, that Christian McCaffrey very likely will be on the cover of Madden. Are we still doing the Madden curse? Is anybody worried about that?
I don't think so. I don't think it's a thing anymore, but
yeah, I think it's been gone for a while now, which is good.
We'll see.
It doesn't need to come back ever. I think this will be the first 49er on the cover.
Is. No, it is.
Because I can't think of a time a Niner's been on the cover, and I think it's deserving.
RG3 posted a picture. It's all but been confirmed, and we actually had that news before RG3. Shout out to Emil. But yeah, we'll see if it ends up being Christian McCaffrey. I think he is deserving, but you know what they say about Madden. Just got to be careful there, CMs. I mean, even if there's a curse, you can't say no. Somebody comes up to you and says, hey, you want to be on the cover? There's this curse that's happened a couple different times, but not every time.
Who else do you think would deserve to be on it who hasn't been on it this year? Because like Lamar's done, obviously Mahomes done.
I mean, my guy Justin Jefferson could use an appearance.
Brock,
Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is another name that they
can't come off injury though.
This is a big season.
It's good. They got to have a good season before.
I think Josh Allen was on the cover once already.
Yeah, he was.
Last year, even.
I think because I bought Madden for cheap last year. He was on it.
Brock has another good season. With it now, you can't go.
It's a good endorsement for him.
Can't go back-to-back Niners though.
Why not?
That'd be tough.
Why
if
not?
they win it, maybe we'll have that combo.
I hope not. I hope they don't do the back-to-back covers.
They probably have to. You skip a season, let Brock get the bag, ball out again, and then go back to Niners.
I feel like if Brock plays at this level, he'll get it eventually by default.
Yeah, I mean it's the storyline, right? The first mystery. I would assume the first mystery relevant.
They'll make it like a story mode, like
story
play
mode.
Our new,
underdog edition.
You guys are overthinking it. Madden doesn't put that much effort into. They just want you to buy their
Ricky
in-game
Pearsall,
cards.
and then when they do different editions, do Ricky Pearsall Reach Edition,
Yeah.
and then Ricky Pearsall Steel Edition, and then Ricky Pearsall Bust.
So you're the only person I've seen say that you're seeing both sides of that.
I saw both sides of it.
Okay,
we're gonna get to the Niners.
It was
here.
definitely, especially
Thank
draft
you,
day.
Chris.
Draft day, people were like, "What are you doing? This is a reach."
Yeah.
And then ever since, I
haven't seen the Steel part.
Oh, you haven't seen the Steel part?
No.
We'll get into it.
Nate, yeah.
Okay, great.
That's
can
later
show
in the
you
show,
that.
1:00, because right now we're
That's
continuing
plentiful.
to break down Sasha Vezenkov and what in the world happened. So here's the timeline, Chris. June 22nd, 2017, he was drafted by the Brooklyn Nets in the second round at the 57th pick of the 2017 NBA draft. In 2021, he was traded to the Cavs, and in 2022 traded by the Cavs with cash to the Sacramento Kings for a second round draft pick who ended up being Isaiah Mobley. And that was when all the courting happened, right? All the courting happened between 2022 and 2023. And then Sasha is signed to a multi-year contract with the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, it is one of the stranger tenures in Kings history for sure. I've never, ever in my life seen a pro team recruit. And the Kings did exactly what Nick Saban would do, what Kirby Smart would do. And they traveled across the country it was Vivek and Monty. It was, I think Matina was even out there. Then they sent out Mike Brown on a separate occasion. the amount of times that they personally spent time to try and get Sasha to eventually sign on the dotted line and say yes to coming over here. You would have thought, you would have thought that this is LeBron James Jr. or something like that. You know, I know TC said, you were supposed to be Luka
2.0.
That was not the expectation, but you wouldn't have known via the recruiting.
Maybe Bogdanovich 2.0.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. And even then, it's which Bogdanovich. It's just a weird tenure. I don't know what I'm going to think about it moving forward. I still think that the jury's out on Sasha. Like everyone said, like we saw moments where there's something there, but it also wouldn't surprise me if he's not cool being a 5 to 8 point per game guy here. And he says, I want to go like score and have fun and be dominant and average 15 to 17 a game over in Europe and go be a god over there. Like, I don't think they care overseas that he failed in the US as long as
big fish, little pond, or
exactly.
Little fish, big pond, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And, I think he'll definitely, continue to have a good pro career, but I think here in Sacramento, it's just it timing wise, I think timing is really the word to use, because it was never on his side, from the Trey stuff that you mentioned to, even they tried to get him over the season before and couldn't get him over, and then eventually did. It just felt like if he would have been there for that first Beam Team season, I don't think we're going through what we went through now. But since he said no to that season and then joined once the team already was established and was already in a winning position, they said, well, we ran it back. We have to kind of keep what we had last year and try to slowly integrate you versus the year previous. They didn't have many expectations. They probably would have given him a ton of opportunity, and he would have been part of one of the most special seasons in Kings history.
Right. Yeah. And really, if you're Sasha, is it safe to say, Chris, with, the $6 million that is still on his deal, and then he had another year, which I believe was a team option, and obviously the Kings are going to, which the Kings won't get there at this point, but this is honestly the option, or the opposite of picking the money, because I don't think he's making this money he's not in Europe. So he's deciding again, I can try to get traded and try this thing out, or honestly, if there's a way to get back to Europe, I'm cool with
comfort, man,
making a little bit less money. And that, look, maybe this is a good sign for Malik Monk. You pull it back to Malik Monk, how important it is to be comfortable. 916-339-1140. Javier is on the line and wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Javier? What you got for us?
How you doing, Mr. Stiles and Watkins? I've been listening to the show for a few months now. You guys do great work. I never called in, but I had 2 trade proposals. Sorry to hear about Sasha's request, but we're going to get his wishes met with what I have 2, I think, practical trades. The first trade we discussed is Sasha Vezenkov, Davion Mitchell, Duarte, and a first-round pick, the 2024 13th overall selection for Kyle Kuzma, and I'm going to take a flyer on Landry Shamet. End all be all if Monk leaves, because he's had some good scoring seasons off the bench in previous stops, Phoenix, Philadelphia, etc., the Clippers, and then obviously the Wizards. He had a bad year, so to speak, in Washington this season, but I still think as a reserve shooting guard, take a flyer on him, and obviously the trade works in the Fansco trade machine. And my second trade, and if you just let me say this and then tell you the lineup, I feel like this is going to be a 50-win plus team. Levine and Caruso for Barnes, Herter, and Slauson. And the reason why we don't have to put in a pick is because they want to get off Levine's contract as much as we don't want to throw them a first-round pick. And I feel like with the lineup of De'Aaron Fox, Zach LaVine, Keegan Murray, Kyle Kuzma, and Sabonis, with our backup, backup 5 would be, Keon Ellis, Landry Shamet, and/or Monk, and if obviously Monk may or may not leave, depending on what we can offer him and he accepts. Our backup 3 would then be, we have Caruso, because he's a 1 through 3 type of guy with his height, 6'7". Our backup power forward would be still Trey Lyles. We re-sign Alex Lynn and/or another player. Fill out the roster. You got Mason Jones, Kessler Edwards, Kobe Jones, and whoever else they may not sign through undrafted free agency, second round pick, etc. But I still think that team right there, I mean, that's a solid lineup right there. And Shamet is I'm not saying you're your savior if we don't retain Monk, but man, you get Levine in there with Kuzma, and then say, heaven forbid, knock on wood, Levine gets hurt, you can plug Keon right there. But Keon's a combo guard. He can play the backup point and he can play the backup 2, as well as start at the 2. So I just feel like that solves the Kings' problems in a nutshell. Granted, you don't add the most defensive, versatile wings, but I'm telling you that team right there will be a force to reckon with. You're adding 2 all-star players, exactly with what the Kings need, and you don't have to give up and mortgage the future. I mean, that right there, and you get an insurance policy on Shamet. So I just was seeing what you guys, thought about that, Monk were to leave, and what you guys thought about those 2 proposals, sir.
Thanks for the call, Javier. We got some misters and sirs. Got to love there. Love that. Appreciate you listening, Javier. Yeah, I mean, that's essentially, Chris, that was your monster trade, minus Shamet, right? That was essentially your monster trade from last week, correct?
Yes. Yeah, no, almost exactly. I had Kuzma for Lyles, Duarte, Mitchell, and the 13th pick. I didn't have Shamet thrown in there. I loved Landry Shamet. I think he's somebody who early in his career was playing really big minutes in playoff teams. Then he just fell off the face of the earth. And he's probably like, celebrity birthdays, he's probably like 30 now, but
maybe,
and that's crazy to say because it felt like he was most relevant when he was 24, 25 on those Clippers teams.
He's 27.
Shut up.
He's 27.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
And he turned 27 in March.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely. I'd welcome it. I think Landry Shamet's got a lot more to his game than what he's shown so far. Someone who's a veteran who's been in those situations. That's a perfect trade, absolutely. And then, we talked about it a bit last week when I presented this. I just don't know what Chicago want. Like, what do they think is the salary dump? You say, HB, Herter, and Slauson for Levine and Caruso. I know they want to said that they're willing to salary dump Levine, but I still think that they're going to want a first, and I don't care. I'm throwing it in there to get the deal done. I agree with Javier that if you get that 5 with Caruso and Keon off the bench, and you can add Shamet to that as well. That's how this team seriously becomes in the title contending conversation. I'm not going to say they get to be the favorites or anything like that, but they at least are in the conversation and you're not laughed out the room.
Coming up next, we continue the conversation. What went wrong with Sasha? Also, there may be a player on Minnesota who will be made available for trade. Do you want him? We'll talk about it. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead.
Get your Kings fix all season long right here on your home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
So I just went to Kohl's to shop their first ever customer appreciation event. And now I'm here to spill the details. Because I'm a Kohl's card holder, I got an extra 30% off. Or if you're a rewards member, you get 20% off. Even non-members can save with 15% off. And as an added bonus, Kohl's also has great prices on Father's Day gifts, like top activewear, Sephora cologne, grilling gear, and more. So what are you waiting for? Don't miss out. Hurry to Kohl's. Select styles. Some exclusions apply. Coupons and Kohl's cash do not apply to Sephora. Offers end June 16th. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Save on rows and rows of new Hondas during our giant summer sale at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Hurry in and save on our best selection of new Hondas. Each is priced to sell now. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on a giant selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline, Civics, and Accords with low finance and lease options. Get to Folsom Lake Honda or go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Father's Day at Hagen Oaks is sure to bring a smile to the men in your life. From shoes to shirts, from golf balls to golf bags, and from drivers to divot repair tools, Hagen Oaks has all this and so much more, including gift certificates for the father who has it all. Let Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop be your one-stop for all your Father's Day needs. You'll even find the wildly popular Golf and Guitars concert tickets on sale. It's the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue at Cap City Freeway, or HagenOaks.com.
Play and win to take your loyalty to new heights at Sky River Casino in Elk Grove. Sign up for Sky River Rewards, and you'll get $15 free play to use on your first visit. Plus, you'll be in the know about upcoming special events and offers. Visit skyriver.com today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
From the 916, timing has never been right for Sac, which is why they bleeping suck. Always. That's from the 916.
Wow.
916, show
Again.
yourself. Are you
Guys.
a double agent? Are you a Kings fan? Are you a pessimistic, broken Kings fan, or are you a double agent? Because you can only talk like that and say.
He said they also. Or they said they. I should
Yes.
say. They.
Timing has never been right for Sac, which is why they bleeping suck always.
Not we.
That's right.
They.
Well, some fans don't say we.
Well, then they're not really a fan. Not a Sacramento Kings
That's
fan.
a classic
for sure.
summer conversation, isn't it?
You're not a Sacramento Kings fan if you say they. I think that Sacramento personally has been through enough with this franchise that
everyone's we.
It's like the Packers. Like, we own a piece of this. Absolutely. With everything we had to deal with to even just get these guys to play basketball terribly in our city, I think it's a we at this point. I've got no issue with we. There are some legacy members that have issues with we, but it's sports. It's not that serious. It's
Show yourself, 916. Are you a Kings fan or not? You can't talk like that if you're not a Kings fan. Yeah. Chris, from the 925, the amount of money they spent trying to get Sasha here, they could have put in a retirement trust, wink, wink, for Monk. So we broke that down a couple weeks ago, and it wasn't a ton of money, but
no, it was like a mil.
Yes, it wouldn't. But it would have changed. It would have been a mil more that the Kings could have offered Monk. So if they didn't, they tried to put that money away for Sasha, they did put that money away for Sasha. Then Sasha didn't end up coming over. That was the 2022 the 2023 season, 2022-2023. That money could have went to Malik Monk. It could have went to anybody, but if it goes to Malik Monk, then that would have been added. So then they would have, because that would have upped the percentage. So the Kings would have been able to offer 18 close to 19 mil instead of 17 close to 18 mil. So still, again, if we're talking about the Magic or somebody offering 22 mil, that ain't changing anything. And if you really want to have the conversation, if he leaves for 20 and you say, well, what if it was 18 point whatever instead of 17 point whatever, he probably was going to go anyway. Let's just not, don't add to the 916's point. Don't add to the headache and the despair that is already going on. As Sasha Vezenkov says, he wants out, and that's just not how any of this works, Sasha, unless there have been conversations in the background and Sasha thinks this is a smart play. Yeah, Chris, to kind of put a bow on this whole Sasha situation, my question is, a lot of people were worried about this as we talked about James Harden last week, and I want to be remembered a winner, and James Harden forced himself out of two situations in Houston and also in Brooklyn.
And Philly.
And Philly. I forgot about Philly.
I forgot that there's three. You said two, and I was like,
three situations, and a lot of people, I remember doing segments. this player control, is it too much? And then the whole idea was, well, it's not too much because only certain players have the ability to force their team's hand, right? And these are the most elite players. Sasha Vezenkov is not that, but here he is saying, I want to play for you. And he's really forcing their hand in a different way. When James Harden did it, it was because, okay, well, he's so important to this team. We have to move him and get something back because we can't operate. Right. Sasha's saying, you can operate, so let's just not waste my time and waste each other's time. And to that, to your point, Chris, I think something was probably said in the exit presser. I do think that to some degree there might have been, I don't want to say a riff because I don't know, but just an idea of Sasha thinking, okay, maybe I'm not Mike Brown's favorite player in the world, right? And based on what I do. So I think and he just got extended. Maybe Sasha was monitoring to some degree, hey, what's going to happen here? And after Mike Brown got extended and you still got Trey Lyles and you still got Keegan Murray and you still got Kevin, all these guys, Sasha is saying, you go down and talk to your boss and you say, hey, what's my path here?
Yeah.
And they said, well, we're going to try to make something for you, but it's not going to be easy. And Sasha says, then I want out.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely feel like that's pretty much what I think that in their exit interviews with Monty and with Mike, I'm sure it was just those conversations tend to be very open, very honest for sure. There's no need to sugarcoat it. The season's already over. Everybody knows what the situation was. So I'm sure Sasha voiced his displeasure with his playing time and just with his situation in general, and probably asked, like, you know, now I'm really getting to the point of speculation, but I'm sure there was some sort of me or Trey conversation because it's something that's just undeniable. When you look at even the salary sheet, Sasha and Trey make the same money. They play the same position. In theory, they're both stretching the floor and playing that 4 position. One of them had to give, and I think, you know, Trey has definitely been the option that Mike went to 100 times out of 100.
Yeah.
And I think that there was just no path for Sasha to really get his time. And, you know, I feel like he's going to get another shot somewhere else. I think it's going to have to be for a situation that's not quite as solidified. It's going to be, you know, like Javier called in there and maybe suggested in a Kuzma deal, he can go to Washington and have a little bit more free reign to do whatever he wants. Jordan Poole can get up 30 shots. Why can't Sasha get up 8 to 10? And we saw Marvin Bagley have success there. To me, that makes the most sense. And if it doesn't work out in Washington, or if he inevitably doesn't have fun in an incredibly losing situation, he can maybe talk to their organization and say, hey, do me a favor, don't opt in. And so that way I can get it. I think this all leads to Sasha going back overseas.
You know what's crazy, Chris, as I'm thinking about it, I'm trying to confirm, and we can pull these numbers, and honestly, you know, how much of the nitty-gritty do we really need on this? But what I thought off the top of my head when you brought up Trey Lyles is that Trey Lyles didn't start the season playing.
No,
he was injured.
Yep.
So I'm just looking here. That October when the season started, Sasha got 16 minutes in that first game. He got 12 minutes against the Warriors. He got 18 minutes against the Lakers. And then in November, 17 minutes, 11 minutes, 12 minutes. And it obviously starts to drop once Trey gets back. But he did have a decent opportunity with Trey out to start the season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it too. Like, you could definitely argue there's a little revisionist history here where he did get a shot. Like, yeah, I mean, if you look at the game logs, actually, a majority of his games played are pretty consistently through the first, about 30 games of the season. He played in, 20 of the first 30 games. He didn't play in 4 of them. So he had 26 opportunities to show something. And yeah, it wasn't even in, you know, all of them are over 10 minutes with the exception of 2 of those stints. He got plenty of opportunity. I actually don't remember it being that much of an opportunity, but yeah, he never really pounced on it. And you can argue that it wasn't fair because that was his transition period into the league. But, you know, I do think that it was, you know, he was good. He knocked down shots, but I never really felt like, and I definitely expected to feel at some point like Sasha was changing the game. Like he was going to have a spark that, of course, wasn't going to be like a Malik Monk-esque spark, but I was thinking, oh my gosh, Sasha checks in. you feel the gravity.
And the fans tried.
They tried, man. They really tried.
Look at this, Chris. Trey Lyles, his first game was in New Orleans, was November 22nd. So
wow, late November
22nd. So the season started basically a month. So Sasha essentially had a month.
Yeah.
And I could say Sasha, and I could also say Mike Brown. They had a month to see what they had with Sasha. And after a month, you couldn't really ask for anything better. After a month of no Trey Lyles, as Trey gets back on the 22nd, he's still, even after that, the 28th, Sasha played 15 minutes.
Yep.
Okay. The 29th, Sasha played 24 minutes. So,
which is the most he played all season.
Yeah. And then towards the end of October is when you saw the disappearing act, 6 minutes, 8 minutes, 9 minutes, 3 minutes. And I know the injury happens after that. You got 21 minutes in New Orleans. And after that, 9 minutes, 6 minutes, a random 18 minutes, a random 11 minutes, then 6 minutes, then 6 minutes. And then I think at some point here is when he gets injured, and it's basically cooked by that point. But he had a month.
Yeah. No, and I mean, I guess the argument is just like, yeah, but that's the first month he was here. Maybe try him, when he's a little bit more comfortable.
He wasn't even supposed to have a month.
And I just think that the problem is, like you said earlier, too, it's just the injuries. I mean, when I'm looking at these inactives here, it's just it's in the middle of the season. I mean, his first game 43. I mean, the HB Revenge Tour is when he went out. Game 43 through 49, he misses. He comes back for 2 games and then misses games 58 all the way through 73. There was no other opportunity for him to get reintegrated, to get his legs under him, to get his recovery, his stamina. You're right. Like, he did when he was available, he played the first 30 games. He got opportunities, and then he stopped, and then he got hurt, and then there was no real opportunity to get him some real playing time. And then even then, you know what? People forget. Mike Brown threw Sasha back out there in the play-in when everything was going wrong. I think it was after in the second half when Keegan had gotten hurt with his groin injury. Mike Brown said, okay, I need somebody who has played in big games and isn't going to be afraid of this moment. He threw Sasha out there, and Sasha really didn't give much. And I don't think that's his fault because it was a while since he had been thrown back out there previously. But really, again, I just think this story for Sasha is all about missed opportunity and just timing not being in his favor even a little bit.
Yeah, I hate to be a fence sitter, but I think everybody deserves some blame in this thing not working out. We got 11, early in the season, 11 points here, 13. And the reason points are so important is because really that's
what he's getting.
Sasha's calling card. Yeah. A couple games with 4 rebounds, 5 rebounds, but 11 points here, 13 points there, 14 points against Phoenix in December. Again, that's after Trey Lyles does return. He played 20 minutes in that game, and they won that game. So that was his season high, that 14 points, a couple other double-digit games. Then, oddly enough, Chris, then in January, he scored 14 again against the Phoenix Suns. So oddly enough, he did like the Suns, but didn't like much else. And, we wish Sasha the best. We'll see how this thing ends. But, yeah, he's probably going to need to get moved fairly quickly here. Coming up next, speaking of moves, what moves are happening in the draft, we have a very exciting prospect for this mock draft. He breaks the rules, but is he the exception to the rule? We tell you who it is when we return. Stiles and Watkins and DJ K-Dub, we see you on the line as well. We will get you on the other side. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and The Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, The Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SactownSports.com.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
My good friends, Dr. Jack Friedlander and Dr. Pash in Roseville and in San Francisco are offering not only confidence, not only security, but also the ability, if you ain't insecure, to go from the roster to the all-star team. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about UpsizeMatters.com. Time after time, vote after vote, circumference, or as we call it, girth, is consistently ranked as the most important attribute. And Dr. Jack and Dr. Pash can give you a free consultation. The procedure can be done on the same day as your consultation with immediate results. It's non-surgical. It's virtually pain-free, safe, effective, long-lasting, semi-permanent, and doctor-performed. For more information, go to UpsizeMatters.com. Go to UpsizeMatters.com. Make that change. Make the all-star team. Get your girth on.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards concert tickets for your daughter to see that singer who sings about painful breakups. And one song will inspire your little beauty to break up with that beast she's dating, Brian. Instead, she'll date someone who's nice and worthy of her love, not someone who addresses you and your spouse as bro. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Maida Chevy saves you $12,000 off MSRP on every new half-ton Silverado LT Turbo Max. In stock after rebates. Always 5 to choose from.
Exclusive. All in-stock pricing at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See deal for details. 7/1/24.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity Mobile. Connect to the most reliable 5G network nationwide. Well, his arrival on the big league club was delayed because of a knee injury and surgery, but it was certainly worth the wait for Miguel Andujar. In his first 7 games with the A's, he batted .448 and has 12 RBIs during that time, the most for an A's player since 2007. In his 13 hits, the 6th most in A's history for a player in his first 7 games.
Want more speed? Well, Xfinity just increased their internet speeds, and they're faster than ever. It's time to get more out of your internet with faster speeds from Xfinity. Now through June 21st, get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for only $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. That's double the speed for the same great price. Click, call, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and other charges extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary.
I remember as if it were yesterday. I reached down to move a nightstand and was astonished at the weight of the piece. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. At that moment, I instantly recognized the difference between Naturewood's quality furniture that will last a lifetime versus lesser quality furniture found elsewhere. Now, I suppose there's a huge difference in what you'd put in your first apartment and what you would live with in the comfort of your own home. Right now, Naturewood Home Furnishings Made in USA sale is a great time to fill your home with solid, superior quality furniture to reflect your own love for life. With brands like Sam Moore, Stanton, Stickley, Hilltop Hickory, Simply Amish, and many more, Naturewood Home Furnishings has tables, chairs, couches, and yes, nightstands, and more at their Made in USA sale. Find furniture that will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your flagship station for the Beam Team.
Should we light the beam? Light the beam, baby.
Sactown Sports.
local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Nine 339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation before we get to our mock draft with a new prospect for the Kings today from CBS.com. Let's get to DJ K-Dub. Wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, DJ K-Dub? You're on Stiles and Watkins. What you got for us?
What it do, gentlemen? How you doing this afternoon?
Great,
doing
man.
well.
Yeah. How you
doing well.
Doing well too, man. It's funny you guys are talking about Sasha, man, because I've talked about him the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
Believe me. I'm saying because I've watched him. And man, you can't play defense on your toes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Him running up and down the court, he was playing defense on his toes. He was playing in New Balance. He was playing in marathon shoes. You know, he never had basketball shoes on. You know what I'm saying? And he was supposed to be an MVP come from Europe. I didn't see no MVPism in him. I'm saying, you know, you have the P in pimping. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see nothing in MVPism. Nothing, nowhere at all. Like Doncic, he played since he was 14 years old. Man, you can see that guy is, okay, a different kind of cat from a different kind of area, a different country. You know what I'm saying? Bringing his game to the U.S. Sasha wasn't panning out. He looked like a regular player to me. You know what I'm saying? Every time he got on the floor, he didn't utilize his minutes like Lyles did. When Lyles got on the floor, he utilized his minutes. You know what I'm saying? He scored, he played defense, and Sasha was a defensive liability. Mm-hmm. Why? He was that friend that you can always fake out. You know, whatever move you did, he went for the fake. You know what I'm saying? And Sasha's that type of player, man. You do boom, boom, and he go for the fake, and he doesn't have that comeback. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have the speed. When I watched him, he doesn't have a speed for the NBA. I don't know if he hasn't had the time because it's only he's fresh in the NBA. Mm-hmm. But I didn't see no MVP. I didn't see that player like, okay, he's coming from Europe. He's going to bring us something, because that's what I was thinking. I talked about him highly prior to him coming to Sacramento because I watched his highlights. I'm like, oh, he got a quick shot like Curry. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that could be adaptable to the NBA. You got to be quick. But his shot is not adaptable to the NBA because it's so archy. You know what I'm saying? It's got to go in straight up from the bottom to the top, from the top to the bottom. It's got to go in like that. His shot is suspect. Mm-hmm. Sasha, getting rid of Sasha, I'm okay with it because he didn't really bring anything to the team. Because you mentioned his points, his production. He had low production. Yeah. Even though his minutes, even though his minutes was suspect, we understand that too. But being the MVP that I thought you was going to really come into the game and really adapt to the game and really help the Sacramento Kings, but you didn't. It's nothing against you, Sasha. I love you as a person, player, but your style of play is probably more for the Europe style. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad you guys talked about it today. And I wouldn't mind getting rid of Sasha. It's okay. It's not like he's going to make a difference to the squad. We need somebody to plug that position that's going to come into the game and either be offensively, capable or really defensive capable. But we need one, but we're losing both. Sasha's not giving us neither. You know what I'm saying? And when he gives it to us, it's like at the end of the game, it's like, we're losing. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what he can do. You know what I'm saying? And those are moments in the game, that's not going to help us because you already know Mike Brown, man, we got to win first, second, and third quarter, man. We have to play them. We have to have them type of players like that. But I'm going to drop the mic on that, gentleman, and I appreciate you just touching on it, what you think about what I said today.
Thanks for the call, DJ K-Dub, as always. And we did this a couple months ago, Chris, when Sasha couldn't get off the bench, and we're going to do it again because I think DJ K-Dub brings up some good points. I'm going to read some names, and I'm going to read the other former EuroLeague MVPs. Okay. Because when you say MVP, I think your eyes light up a bit. So we're going to name off the former MVPs up to date. And I'm going to start from the last one that actually matters. Luka Doncic in 2017, 2018. What was he, 16 when he did that? 17, something, very young in his career when Luka was MVP of the EuroLeague. Just to keep it in perspective. So, okay, everyone's going to say, oh my goodness, Luka won. Luka was very young when he won that EuroLeague MVP. After that, Jean Vesely,
Yes,
Jan Vasily Micic.
That's the guy
we just talked about. Couldn't get any time on the Thunder. Thunder, yes, the first seed this season, but he was traded. Nikola Mirotic. Okay. Then you have Sasha Vezenkov. After that, Mike James won this season. Mike James, who went to Lamar University. All right. He's trying to make a name overseas. He has played for the Suns in 2017. He's bumped from the Suns to the Pelicans, and then he went back overseas. My point is that all these names that we called besides Luka, who Luka was the phenom, and Luka, if I continue to read these names, Sergio Llull, this is before Luka, Nando De Colo, Nemanja Bjelica, Sergio Rodriguez, Vasilis Spanoulis. Okay, these names are not big names. So it's not like a bunch of these EuroLeague MVPs are coming over and cooking in the NBA.
I just think the hope was that he would be in Nikola Mirotic, that he would be in Nemanja Bjelica, he would be in Andre Karolinko, though. Like,
but
that
Chris,
was
we
the
just
hope.
took a couple calls. Somebody said, TC said Luka 2.0.
Yeah, that was wrong.
DJ K-Dub said, brought up the MVP thing like 3 times. So
Yeah.
that's the only reason I bring this up.
No, I think people bring it up to say, like, I'm surprised he's not even a player in the league. I don't think anyone was expecting him to come in and be an MVP. And if you did, then your expectations were way off from the beginning. The hope was that, you look at, Nemanja Bjelica really is the one. Like, the Kings just had him. Obviously won a title with the Warriors as well. But I think it was just, can this guy be a rotational piece and can he be a shooter? Well, here's some examples of guys that you might not think would have been, especially, hey, Nemanja Bjelica, here's he's a bit of a doughy guy and he's 7 foot and he shoots, doesn't really have much athleticism. Kind of sounds like Sasha. I just think that was the hope. That was the thought that Sasha could at least be, okay, we've seen prototypes like this before. He doesn't have to be a star. He doesn't even have to be a starter as long as he is a guy who can come in and give you 15 to 20 minutes, hit a couple threes, and be a part of your solidified rotation. I still don't know if that's out of the question, but that's definitely not the guy we saw. But I would push back and maybe say, like, what did Nemanja Bjelica do in his first season in the NBA? Because I bet it was probably something similar to what Sasha did.
I have more. I don't even really, and a lot of people, I saw somebody on the text sign say, bleep Sasha Vezenkov. He wants out every time he got in. He had happy feet and isn't ready to play in the NBA. Yeah. And then they say stupid. I don't know who they're calling stupid. My whole thing is I don't really have too much smoke for Sasha. Play out your contract, and I am a little bit old school when it comes to that. But I'm not really going to blame Sasha in this situation. I have more blame for the Kings because I'm not sure the Kings necessarily knew what they wanted out of Sasha. I think it was one of those situations where it was, we're just going to get talent together, and the talent just didn't really mesh together because you just signed Trey Lyles, all right? You re-sign Harrison Barnes or give him an extension, and then you go out and you have to have this guy, Sasha Vezenkov, who I guess maybe they thought maybe he could back up for Keegan. So it just felt like they weren't really quite sure what their plan was.
Yeah.
And Sasha suffered from that. And that's probably why if you ask the Kings how they feel about Sasha, I'm almost certain there's no ill will because, look, and I know it's Sam Presti, it's different. But with the Thunder, they came out and said, we botched that Gordon Hayward thing. That was a miss on us. Now, when you've been as good as Sam Presti has, that you've earned a little bit more leash to be able to say that. But when it comes to the Kings, I would hope that when the next time we hear from Monty McNair, and not Mike Brown, because it's not all Mike Brown in my opinion, the next time we hear from Monty McNair, I would like to know, and maybe I'll be there, maybe Brandon or Frankie will be there, what was the plan for Sasha?
Yeah.
Why bring him over here and not give him consistent minutes? Yeah. What went wrong? And see how he kind of responds to that.
Definitely. I think that's a totally fair question because, to me, and maybe we're making this more than it is, but Sasha is almost the perfect representative for the thing we keep talking about when it comes to Juan Toscano-Anderson. Like, I think that's a real sign of the disconnect possibly between guys that maybe Monty or higher up, even the ownership wants to bring in, versus Mike Brown. And there should always be some form of communication between coach and GM versus what are the players you want to bring in versus who are the players that we're thinking about bringing in and trying to meet in the middle. And Sasha, to me, feels like the two ends being complete opposite magnets where, like you said, I mean, Sasha walked in and, I mean, shout out Whitey, who's probably taking a victory lap today. He was saying, I don't know if he was maybe saying we should trade Sasha last offseason before he even stepped foot in America. So I do think that there's a lot of questions that need to be answered in terms of, what was the plan with him? What if you visualize the perfect season for Sasha, whose minutes is he eating up? What role is he playing? Where was it ever actually going to work out?
Oh, well, it was supposed to be Trey Lyles and then Sasha. They would combine at the 4 spot. Okay, cool. So why did you give Harrison Barnes more money?
Or why'd you pay Trey? One of these things
makes no sense.
Doesn't really make it. Well, unless they just said this is incredibly low risk. If he doesn't work out, we're in the situation we're in today. And if he does work out, great, awesome. We can figure it out later.
Yeah, maybe it's just all a bit overblown. Yeah. Who knows? But we do know that we will be back with CBS.com's mock draft. Oh, you're not going to want to miss this one. We have not seen this name before. This name has been dropping a little bit, but the ceiling is there, especially if the Kings lose a key piece this offseason. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Harrison Barnes plays here.
Harrison Barnes drives it, hammers it. The Black Falcon soaring into the night sky on a Monday evening in Northern California.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs. You sound very calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees. Ooma. Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
The news on vapes talks a lot about the technology and teen use, but parents need to know more about the dangers of nicotine. So know this. 1. Nicotine is a poison that can rewire teens' brains. 2. It can increase mood swings. 3. It can limit attention and learning. So even when it comes in new tech, nicotine is brain poison. Go to undo.org for more.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
530, and we know everybody's running around and doesn't get to listen. By the way, you can listen SactownSports.com, Sactown Sports app, and YouTube.com. You can run it back if you want, but we like you, 530. So we will give what Keith Smith had to say, 530. If Sasha really wants to go home and leave the NBA, what do the Kings do? Is his contract then just dead weight on the team salary? This is from Keith Smith. He can't just unilaterally decide to leave the Kings. They'd have to waive him. He's got a guaranteed year at $6.6 million for the 2025 season, and then the Kings hold a team option in the 2026 season for $6.9 million. Sacramento controls this process, not Vezenkov. Retiring, then signing overseas might not work because FIBA likely wouldn't clear a new deal. Not sure how they plan to pull this off unless there's something I'm missing or the Kings and Vezenkov have some deal in place for him to make his deal non-guaranteed and Sacramento waives him, or the Kings or another team after a trade just eat his $6.6 million salary for this season. I don't think you come out like Sasha came out and then the Kings have to pay. I think it would be that option of making his deal non-guaranteed, or honestly, I think he's to that point, Chris, might have lost a little bit of leverage, but I do think he's got enough value to trade. Yeah. So the Kings shouldn't, to answer your question, 530, the Kings shouldn't have to just eat this.
Yeah, probably not. Real quick, too, just on the Dan Hurley front, I'm just seeing during the break here, actually, your guy, Jason Dumas, put this out, and I've also seen some other people say versions of this as well. But on the Dan Hurley front, Dan Hurley's wife didn't want him taking the job because of the exposure, pressure, and lack of privacy that comes with it. Hurley, I guess reports are that over the weekend, Hurley talked about the decision with his wife, and ultimately she was unwilling to relocate, or unwillingness to relocate was a major factor in their change of heart.
I think I saw Colin Cowherd say, just stay at UConn. I believe Hurley's wife is either from New Jersey or New York, and Colin Cowherd said, just stay at UConn. The Knicks job will be available in a couple years.
Honestly,
I mean, it's a thought, but for now, hey, fit matters, and you got to make the decisions that are best for you. So Dan Hurley feels like he did that. All right, CBS.com, NBA mock draft, and I'm torn on this one, Chris, because it breaks the rules, but this was the one I was okay with breaking the rules for. Let's go to you, Chris Watkins.
All right. Yeah, this one is from CBS.com from over the weekend. From what I understand, they do have a second mock draft up, but for more of the purpose of conversation, we're going to go over the one that they dropped over the weekend. And let's start off with number 1, which goes Alex Sarr. No surprise there, but the surprise starts at number 2 in this mock draft, where we have a name that we have definitely not seen at number 2, as Zachary Risacher has been at number 1 or number 2 in just about every mock draft we've seen. This one from CBS.com has Reed Sheppard going number 2, the Kentucky freshman guard, going number 2 to the Washington Wizards. I'm trying to think fit-wise if that maybe makes more sense. I know they're really high on Bilal Coulibaly, who they drafted.
He's been putting out a lot of videos.
They have, yeah.
Apparently he grew too.
That wouldn't surprise me either. Yeah, he's got that Giannis, Jason Tatum growth spurt. I'm trying to think of their guard situation. They obviously have Jordan Poole. Tyus Jones is out the door probably. Maybe a guard like Reed Sheppard makes some sense. They have Zachary Risacher going 3rd to Houston. Number 4, pairing Donovan Clingan with Victor Wembanyama. That's an interesting front line there. I don't know if that works. Maybe if the thought is to maybe move Wemby to the 4, which is terrifying. Please no. Mateus Buzelis going number 5 to Detroit. Number 6, Stephon Castle going to Charlotte. Number 7, Dalton Connect going to the Portland Blazers. Number 8, Nikola Topic to the Spurs. Number 9, Devin Carter seems to have found himself in the top 10 pretty solidly. At number 10, Utah is taking Ron Holland. Number 11, the Bulls taking Isaiah Collier. Number 12, Cody Williams going to OKC, bringing us to number 13. Unfortunately, Tejan Salon goes 14 to the Blazers, so he's
still another
available.
one.
He's available,
wow,
but he's not going to the Kings. They have the Sacramento Kings with the 13th pick in the 24 draft. CBS.com has the Sacramento Kings taking freshman guard from Kentucky, Rob Dillingham.
Wow.
Not a name that we have seen as far as 13. This is a guy who has been upwards of number 2, I feel like we've seen in some draft lotteries or in some mock drafts, as number 3. Definitely not a lot of people having him go past 8 to the second Spurs pick, but if he does fall to 13, like you said in the tease, if Malik Monk leaves, you're not finding a more one-for-one prospect than Rob Dillingham. You might be able to find, your Jordan Clarkson or whatever, but if you're looking for a long-term, hey, we really liked what Malik brought us, could we sign up for that for 8 to 9 more years of team control? Can't do much better than Rob Dillingham. The write-up on Rob Dillingham was one of 2 projected lottery picks coming off of Kentucky's bench this season for reasons that remain confusing. There are concerns about his size and defensive shortcomings, but the 6'1" guard could be a legitimate scoring option early in his career for a Sacramento franchise that has won 94 games in the past 2 regular seasons. Not used to seeing the wins listed as a positive for Sacramento, so that was kind of new for me to read. Rob Dillingham last season, 15.2 points per game, 3.9 assists, 2.9 rebounds, 44% from 3. You love to see it. For the combo guard out of Kentucky. Some of the pro comps, you have Kobe White, who, you probably view that a little bit differently after this season. Kemba Walker and Lou Williams. So I think clearly shift, right? He is shifty is what those pro comps are telling you. He's a guard who likes to have the ball in his hands. He's a scorer. He's a shooter, and that's what he's here to do. Some of his strengths real quick. Listed from Bleacher Report: ball handling creation, shot making versatility, improving his playmaking. His weaknesses are finishing around the rim, which is definitely a problem, and that's where maybe the Malik comps start, because Malik is a pretty crazy finisher around the rim. Shot selection, which you could definitely see being a problem, and defensive tools where, he's 6'1", he's really, really light. I don't even know what his listed weight, 165 pounds, which is Trae Young territory. That's definitely a major concern that I don't think ever gets solved. It's going to be a matter of if Rob Dillingham's offense is going to be good enough to make him a pro. And if it is, I definitely think he's going to be exactly those pro comps. He's going to be Malik. He's going to be Lou Will. He's going to be Kemba Walker. I can definitely see him being just a lights out scorer, and that's going to be where his bread is buttered. I don't know how I feel about it.
I think his highlights are great.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Kings can afford to swing and miss on him. I would much rather do a deal for Jordan Clarkson, who his money is right.
That's true.
Right there where what you were going to give with Malik Monk still available, and Malik Monk as a now free agent or about to be a free agent. I would just make that trade. Somebody on the text line, Will Lamas, is saying a little bit redundant with Davion, even though they're not the same player. Can you really afford to bring on another undersized guard to this team? It's like the combination of Davion and Rob Dillingham is a player that you'd really want, but can you afford to have two players doing that? Especially now when you have, I might have this conversation if Keon didn't emerge this season, but you got to get Keon minutes. You still have Davion for now. Maybe the assumption is you're not going to have Davion by the time the season starts. But as the roster is currently set, I love Rob Dillingham as a prospect. I would love to use him if I was playing a video game. But as far as on the Kings, I just don't think you can afford to miss and miss on another guard. I mean, you took Davion at 9, and now you took how many? I mean, you took De'Aaron Fox, you took Tyrese Halliburton, now you took Davion Mitchell, and now you're going to take Rob Dillingham. And I get it if you lose Malik Monk, but in a couple months here, and you look at ceilings, or a couple years rather, and you say, oh man, the Kings missed. Would you rather them? There's no sure things here. So I got to go with the higher ceiling than a guy that at best is going to be another Malik Monk. And we know it took Malik Monk a couple years to get going. You just don't have time for that.
No, and I mean, if he pops, I think we presented this question in one of the mock drafts last week, but let's say Rob Dillingham pops, and let's see he's the caliber of Darius Garland. What do you do then? Like, you can't. I think if you draft Rob Dillingham at 13, especially, it's like that's a perfect bench player for us. But what if Rob Dillingham becomes? It's a great problem to have, of course, is you knock the pick out the park. But positionally, you're going to play him and De'Aaron Fox, or you're going to have to make that decision. Do you ship off? Like, it just, I know get the talent in the building, figure the rest out later. But again, positionally, it just feels like sometimes you need to. Just because you shouldn't draft for position doesn't mean you shouldn't factor it in a little bit into your calculus. And I just think take Tajon Salon there. I don't care. Take Tristan da Silva. Take somebody who at the very least positionally I think makes more sense. I'm always going to be on that
And
side.
we just had a conversation. Just had a conversation about Sasha. So you're going to give Mike Brown another offensively focused guy that doesn't play defense. Mike Brown's just going to say, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do here? We can't build what we want to build. Coming up next, Chris's favorite player was in Folsom, hitting the night. Also, that bad man in Minnesota. Do you want him? And no, I'm not talking about Justin Jefferson. We're on the basketball court. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khdk.com.
At the Good Feet store, we take pain very seriously. Whether in the foot, knee, hip, or back, Good Feet makes over 300 styles, flexibilities, and sizes of pain-relieving arch supports. With 26 bones, 30 joints, and over 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments in each foot, a lot can go painfully wrong. So there's a trained arch support specialist at each Good Feet store to give you a precision fit. Come in for a free fitting and test walk. No appointment necessary. Good Feet arch supports are HSA, FSA eligible.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
Award-winning country sensation Lee Brice is back.
Ain't trying to meet nobody. You'll just hear
Live in concert. Friday, June 28th, 7:30 p.m. The venue at Thunder Valley. Lee Brice. Special guest Abby Anderson. The venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit thundervalleyresort.com. Don't miss Lee Brice live.
Sacramento, Dirks Bentley is coming to town.
Hey y'all, this is Dirks Bentley.
Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park 2. And he's bringing some friends.
This is Bonnie. Take my hand, let me make you mine.
It's Dasha, Kelsey Hart, and more. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets before they sell out at CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Hyatt Vacation Club and Xfinity.
Father's Day at Hagen Oaks is sure to bring a smile to the men in your life. From shoes to shirts, from golf balls to golf bags, and from drivers to divot repair tools, Hagen Oaks has all this and so much more, including gift certificates for the father who has it all. Let Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop be your one-stop for all your Father's Day needs. You'll even find the wildly popular Golf and Guitars concert tickets on sale. It's the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue at Cap City Freeway, or HagenOaks.com.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton & Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton & Price in your corner. When you call Ashton & Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real live person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
What do you do with the 6'1" guy who's supposed to be a scorer and can't score? There's no use that you could find for him.
Right.
Maybe a 6'7" guy is a terrible offensive player. He's a terrible defender, but he's a real good hustle guy. He's a great rebound. You know, like there's just when you have the size and like you said, I'd much rather be wrong on one of those guys just in terms of hedging your bet. If it doesn't work out, you can maybe find minimal use for him where Rob Dillingham, I mean, you see what James Bouknight is doing. He's just sitting on the bench. You can't find any time for him.
Yeah, and even if Dillingham hits again, okay, is he the next Malik Monk, and what's his usage going to be? I always thought that one of the issues with the Kings was that they were too reliant on Malik Monk.
Yeah.
So I just don't really know if you draft him again, what the plan for him would be. And the Kings have shown us that they don't always know. And I do think it would be a little scary if he's around, because they're going to get those Birdman hands and start plotting. You know what this team needs? Another guard to go along with the 18 guards that we already have. 916-339-1140. Let's get to Edward, who wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, Edward? You're on Stiles and Watkins. What you got for us?
Well, guys, usually you're pretty good, but you're a little off today, I think.
Oh, no. How?
On the last two segments here, Dillingham, if we believe that the guy from CBS has any kind of information that leads him to believe that, hey, the Kings might take this guy, then we must assume it's to trade him. It's to trade him to another team. Now, first team I'm looking at is Atlanta, because they're going to probably move Trae Young. But we should be looking at teams we could trade him to and what we could get for him. Could we get DeJounte Murray for him? I doubt it, but maybe, because his salary's high. But if Dillingham is really the choice, then it's got to be to trade him, unless you're planning on moving Fox and going in a whole different direction. But you can't have – you're right, the Kings are too small already at guard. He's a non-logical pick for the Kings. But he's very logical if he's the best guy there and you could trade him for somebody good. So that's about that. Sasha, when I was listening to you, I thought maybe there'd been news that the Kings had bought him out or something. You kept saying what the Kings' plan was for Sasha. And I guess it's just that somebody says he's not happy and he might leave. But he is signed through next year, and with the Kings, with the option for the year after, it's a 3-year thing. I mean, somebody's got to take him aside and say, look, your first year was rough, but we want you for 3 years, and by that third year, you're going to be in the top 8. And for next year, he should be number 9 or 10, which means he sits in the playoffs, but he's got to have 2 or 3 games during the season where he goes 5 for 5 or 6 for 6 from threes and contributes to wins. And that's all he's got to do in his second year. In his third year, he's got to play top 8. But unless he's gone, and I don't know it, I'm not sure why we were talking about what the plan was.
No, because Edward, over the weekend, Sasha informed the team that he wants out. That's why.
Oh, okay. Well, I did not hear that, but does that mean that the Kings, well, I mean, he does that when he has no value. If he wants out, all he has to say is, yeah, I guess I'll leave. Let's void the contract, I think.
Yeah, no, all good, Edward. Thank you for the call. But basically, the Sasha situation is they can't. He has no say. He's just telling them, I'm not happy, essentially, and is hoping that they can make him happy, whether that's by trading him or making the contract non-guaranteed so he can find a way back overseas. But Sasha, it happened over the weekend. Sasha, he approached the Kings saying that he wants out. He's not happy. And the Kings don't have to move him, but they also don't want somebody who's unhappy, right?
Yeah,
on
especially
the team.
like the 9th guy on the
Right.
team.
What's the point of the drama? Speaking of, Chris, I talked about there wasn't a lot of drama during the season. We had the Mike Brown situation.
Yeah.
Now we have the Sasha situation. This is more drama
It's all
than
leading into the Malik situation.
all leading into the Malik situation. So if you missed majority of that conversation, you can check that out, SactownSports.com on the Sactown Sports app, or you can rewind on YouTube as well. But as far as the Rob Dillingham thing, I mean, the Hawks, they are known for, the most famous trade, trading Luka for Trae Young. I think that's interesting because I don't think that the Kings are definitely not trying to go in a different direction, at least not this season. I think it's interesting if Rob Dillingham is available. And, there are some teams that maybe the thing is any team off the top of my head that would be, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, because some teams don't have picks from deals and stuff. But if you look at the teams that would be interested in Dillingham, feels like a lot of them would have already passed on him.
Yeah.
For him to get to the Kings.
Or if you're really interested in him, you would have traded up in front of the Kings to take him because especially in this draft where it feels like the values are super low of the individual picks. Like if you really see Rob Dillingham falling to 13, you would just trade up to number 11 and get him if you're really that interested in him. There is still the point of, maybe the Kings aren't making this pick at all. And the intention always is to make the pick. And that is something that we kind of kicked around more towards the beginning of this draft process. That makes sense. If you're just literally, and I can't think of a time in which this actually did happen, I guess maybe the Andrew Wiggins in Cleveland situation, but unless you are literally making the pick knowing we have no intention of keeping this guy and we just want to take the guy who has the highest value, then I hear absolutely what the caller just laid out. But I don't think there's any indications, at least, that would be what this is. I think that this is just Rob Dillingham was available. The Kings are taking him because it's a guy who's probably value-wise fallen way too far, and you just want to take the best player available. So I wouldn't read too much into if the Kings did take Rob Dillingham, but definitely it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Atlanta has the number one pick, and the problem is too unless Trae Young is definitely out the door, right? And I know Edward brought up DeJounte Murray. You're definitely not running Trae Young and Rob Dillingham together. That is never going to happen.
No.
So the issue is, I guess it's not necessarily an issue because you don't have to make the trade on draft night. But yeah, if you get him, but the thing is, how often does a trade happen after Summer League, Chris? Like somebody balls out during Summer League.
Yeah.
It just doesn't
have a rookie. Yeah.
It just doesn't happen
never.
often.
Yeah.
Once you get them in the building, it's just awkward, to be completely honest with
yeah.
you. So here are the names, right? Like you said, Washington, it's Atlanta, then Washington, Houston, San Antonio, Detroit, Charlotte, Portland, San Antonio, Memphis, Utah, Chicago, Oklahoma City, then Sacramento.
Yeah.
I think that San Antonio would be interested. San Antonio has 2 picks. If they want Rob, they're going to get Rob.
Yeah.
They're not, you know what I mean? And then what assets would they even have to give to Sacramento? Because they just picked twice, right? So, and if you look at their team as a whole, I don't know off the top of my head if there's anybody that the Kings are clamoring for. I mean, Trey. I don't know if Trey Jones is still on contract, the brother of Tyus Jones. And then after the Kings, if there are people, I want to come up. Portland, you're going to run Scoot and Rob Dillingham together? Maybe. Okay. Miami, they got Scary Terry. They do not need Rob Dillingham. I don't think Philly does not need Rob Dillingham. The Lakers, they're not in a good position either for that. I don't think Orlando is. Maybe Toronto. You could see Toronto scooting up for that, or maybe you do a deal with Toronto in some capacity. I could see that. Cleveland, they have an issue at guard too, and not an issue as in they need a guard. New Orleans, possibly, but again, these are teams. You're either a team that's rebuilding or you're a team that wants to keep growing. So I don't know why New Orleans would want to add a rookie and Rob Dillingham to their team and do a deal with the Kings there. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like the 13th pick is going to be the 13th pick isn't going to be a feature of any trade anyway. Like, I think it's going to be a throw-in. Like, it's going to be a part of a Kuzma deal or part of a big Jeremy Grant deal or a Levine trade or whoever, Brandon Ingram even. I still see his name being thrown around possibly to the Kings. So I just kind of think if the Kings trade 13, they'll probably will take, whoever has the best positional or the best value at number 13. But, I think it's going to be a clear indication. I mean, all signs at the moment, and we're still a couple weeks out from the draft, 15 days away from the draft happening. I don't know if I'm starting to believe that maybe Sacramento might make this pick. I know Dave's been adamant about they're trading the pick. It makes a ton of sense to trade the pick, but we might end up in a situation kind of like what we just described, where maybe there is like a week or two long period where the Kings just have their pick. And we don't know until we know if that pick will be shipped off or not.
Coming up next, Klay Thompson, does he want out of the Bay? Tim Kawakami had some things to say on that. And a team that may be interested in Malik Monk, also interested in Klay. And Chris's favorite player hanging out in Folsom? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
So Charles to McCaffrey, a cutback 130, breaks 340. McCaffrey midfield. McCaffrey 40, 30, 20, and toasted all the way down to the 3-yard line on the first play of the game. CMC Dynamite!
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Granger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Seth Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is, live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Seth Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Seth's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sactown Sports 1140.
Save on rows and rows of new Hondas during our giant summer sale at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Hurry in and save on our best selection of new Hondas. Each is priced to sell now. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on a giant selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline, Civics, and Accords with low finance and lease options. Get to Folsom Lake Honda or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
If you love the game of golf, get ready for the event of the year, the Gold Rush Classic Celebrity Pro-Am Golf Tournament, where golf, charity, and the star-studded fun all come together. Picture this: a $1 million hole-in-one contest, a thrilling skins game, a celebrity draft party, and a chance to rub shoulders with your favorite All-Pro or Hall of Famer on the greens. But that's not all. After the tournament, enjoy a lavish farm-to-fork dinner and a concert under the stars, all while raising money for Make-A-Wish, Jordan's Guardian Angels, and other youth charities. Join us on August 22nd and 23rd at Rancho Murrieta and be a part of this extraordinary, prestigious event. Tee off alongside legendary All-Pros and Hall of Famers. The Gold Rush Classic Celebrity Pro-Am Golf Tournament. Don't miss out. Reserve your spot today. Go to goldrushclassic.org. Make a difference while playing the game you love. The Gold Rush Classic, where golf, charity, and the star-studded fun all come together. For more information, go to goldrushclassic.org.
Lead generation is one of the most important aspects of any marketing campaign. Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products or services to them. Go to aimyourdigital.com today. aimyourdigital.com.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Steph Curry was seen working out Folsom Gym over the weekend. I believe he was there with Kent Bazemore, I think I saw.
Yeah, I think I saw that too.
Why was Kent Bazemore there?
It's a great question. I'm not sure. I did a little bit of digging, and from what I found, it was at the Lifetime Gym out in Folsom.
Overpriced, by the way.
Well, it's about to go up.
I'll throw that out there. It's an okay gym. I just thought.
Hopefully, nobody at
please
Lifetime
us.
Gym
Yeah.
is.
No,
is
gyms
listening.
don't sponsor people. I've asked. I've asked.
Curry was reportedly spotted at a volleyball tournament for one of his daughters who was playing in Roseville all weekend. So that's the reason why he was in
So he
Folsom.
just had to get a run in.
Yeah, I guess, Hooper's hoop. And,
That's so awesome.
I think he just, he's afraid to admit it, but he just loves playing in SAC.
I mean,
he's like, the SAC is so much, the vibes here are so
Yeah.
much better.
He hit the
you can
night.
attest to that.
What did you think about?
Yeah, I
him
thought he
today?
should go home. I thought you should go home. That's uncalled for. Unnecessary.
Isn't it pretty cool?
No.
I was gonna
No.
say he's got JaVale's thing coming up, but if he lives in the Bay,
Is he
that's
going
a
to
day
that?
We don't
drive.
know. Yeah.
He's mentioned or he's been there before, I think.
Yeah.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
Well, they
When
yeah.
he was in the
Yeah.
Bay.
right.
Yeah. That is weird. Bazemore's weird too, especially being an
I'm more
ex-King.
interested with Bazemore.
I
Yeah.
mean, Baze is a former King. I think 2 times. Well, he made training camp 1 time.
Mhm.
Him and Steph are boys. Like, he was part of the original
Yeah.
Vibes crew, right?
Bench
Did they?
mob.
Yeah, I was like, do they have a name for that? Does everyone
I
just call
think it
their?
was just bench mob.
Oh, that's what
But,
everybody
Yeah,
calls
it's just all
it.
the bench mob.
But he was the OG of it. I miss those were like the wholesome Warrior days. That was before they were like the worst thing that's ever stepped on this planet. It was just like all good fun, Bazemore's out here getting 0 minutes, but like hyping up the crowd.
No,
It was awesome.
Well, the thing
Baze was the best part.
Well, he had 2. But that's the thing you're talking about. Yeah, because he had 3 different stints with the Warriors. He was with the Warriors in 2013.
Okay, those were good vibes.
Oh no! Oh, excuse me. He was with the Warriors. So 2 stints.
Okay.
So he was with the Warriors 2013
Yep.
and 2014.
Yes, that's when it was all good. And then I
And
think he went to the
got
Blazers,
moved.
right?
No, I think it might have been a trade because he finished the season with the Lakers.
Oh.
Or he was really, I don't know.
Oh, I forgot about the Lakers.
Yeah, he didn't.
thing.
Yeah, he was averaging 6 minutes per game for the Warriors. So I think, somehow he ended up on the Lakers. And then this is what I thought you were talking about until you said the good old days, because then he went back in 2020, 2021 when the Warriors were not good.
Love that too. Maybe we need to get Baze back in the Bay, man. Get him to bring the good days of them, being good, not great. That's all I really want,
Right.
So I mean, it's definitely interesting for sure. I don't know why Baze would be in town. Maybe him and Steph are really truly just like boys. Maybe Baze has
maybe he knows it's
child on the
popping
team
out
too.
here.
Maybe, maybe he's just showing him the spots. Baze was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I know a guy, I know a place,
It come through, it's full.
Walnut Creek's crazy, bro. It's crazy that you can't even live where you play.
That's
dude.
right.
Like how long is that drive, Alan? That's like
Which drive?
from Walnut Creek, where
Yeah.
Steph
Yes.
ish is,
Yes.
to Oakland, or I guess now to San Francisco. What we're talking?
I mean, that's
45?
gonna hit you at 45. And if the Bay Bridge
Come on.
is cooked, which it normally is, it's an hour.
Dude,
It's an hour.
I know Sabonis lives up in Napa, but like you can live in the soil, you
Yeah.
can find a place for you here.
We can find. There's plenty of places.
something,
There's-
even Folsom. You're out there in Folsom.
I've heard great
that's
things
a-
about Folsom. I
quite
gotta
a
check out
drive,
that
but-
lake.
Yes. Oh no, you
as
definitely
well.
got to check out.
I heard
Folsom
that
Lake
that's
for
a
sure.
nice lake.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
well. And the news continued to come out of the Bay Area with Klay Thompson. And this is from one Mark Stein. Orlando continues to be mentioned by various league observers as a natural suitor for Paul George, as well as Golden State's Klay Thompson. The Clippers certainly hope to retain George in free agency, but they've made it clear by letting negotiations drag out to this point that they want to do it at their price. Klay Thompson, the Magic interested in Klay. There was also some other news that came out of the Tim Kawakami Plus Minus podcast, who said that Klay was pissed at upper management for how they handled his extension talks. And Klay was also annoyed with Draymond Green for speaking on Golden State, giving him a max contract in 2019 after tearing his ACL. That's a lot right there.
Some dysfunction for you on a nice Monday morning. Yeah, I mean, it's not looking good. I mean, we were talking about breadcrumbs earlier and trails. If you're following the line of reporting here, there's a lot of Klay leaving talk. Not a whole lot of, Klay actually is going to weigh his time here in Golden State heavily. He really views the relationship with Steph and Kerr and wants to, end his career. Not a lot of those talks anymore. And I understand Klay's got to play his part and, say, oh, no, I'm going to get the bag. I'm going to get the bag, so you better pay me. But I don't know. It just kind of seems like it's pretty one-sided on the reporting. And, I mean, it's not like it's crazy to assume that other teams would want Klay on their team. So, I don't know. I mean, if you ask me today, I'm leaning pretty heavily that Klay's gone.
I was firmly in the camp of Klay staying. I just think that they wanted the storybook ending. But, these reports that are coming out makes me feel like that may not be the case.
Yeah.
Here is the Tim Kawakami podcast where everything broke down. He's also with Marcus Thompson and Anthony Slater.
It's fair if Klay's
he was pissed at him at the end of the season. There's no question. He was pissed at them at the end of the season. And
by the way, not very happy with upper management's dealing with his extension talks.
It's just the whole thing.
Or non-dealing, I should say.
Yeah, it's the whole thing. And I think he took offense when Draymond, not at Draymond, but that Draymond said, hey, look, if they signed him to a 4-year, $180 million deal when he tore his ACL. And, Klay didn't love that. And it's like, hey, what were they going to do?
What were they going to do? Can you imagine if they did?
That was probably his most, he had a very interesting exit interview for several reasons, but that was probably the answer that was most revealing.
He had that.
People should go back and listen to it if they want.
Just laugh.
Oh yeah, what? I just tore my ACL trying to win my fourth title.
Yes. And he's right. It just was a very interesting moment. And that Draymond's the one who brought up. No one said, hey, Draymond, the fact that they gave Klay all this money after he's tore ACL. No, Draymond brought it up himself. So interesting stuff. And again, I've heard it's not as pissy right now. It doesn't mean they're going to do a deal. I just think they've had some
time. They've had time.
Yeah. It's just he was pissed. Klay was pissed. He also went over.
I love it, man. I love it.
Klay was not happy.
And just for clarity, I don't know if you remember. I should probably look it up before, but that is Draymond saying, I believe with his contract being Draymond's contract extensions, I believe Draymond said, I think they're going to pay me because they took care of essentially a line.
I thought it was from this season, though.
Okay, see, that's where I was like, I was a little unclear.
You might be right. But I also thought it was from this most recent because Draymond got paid at the end of last season.
Yes, he was a free agent entering this.
That makes sense to me. Yeah. But either way, he said it when it was unprompted.
Yes, it was very much unprompted. And you could see how, especially in that situation, Klay would be like, these situations are not equal. Again, I had given and I had gotten hurt trying to win a title versus – you've put yourself, Draymond, you have put yourself in a situation to where people are wondering, should we just get rid of him because of your annoyance, not because of your, just everything else that goes into it. So if that's true, and Klay is the type of dude who I think everyone is surprised when Klay, did you hear Klay's actually upset? I think people are surprised to learn when Klay is actually upset. Mm-hmm. Because I don't think many things bother him. Right. And I think things that do bother him really bother him. And so it wouldn't surprise me if that might not seem like a big thing, but in order for it to kind of get over the hump of it annoying Klay, I kind of think it's a real thing, and it wouldn't be something that I would just throw to the side. And they definitely aren't throwing it to the side. They're making it sound like it is a pretty serious issue.
Yeah, like I said, I thought that Klay was going to do the thing and be with the same team the whole time, but I'm not too sure about that anymore with how this stuff continues to come out. But we will see, and hopefully Klay leaves and the Magic sign him because you sign him, and hey, go ahead, get Klay Thompson and Paul George.
Get
Magic. What do we care? Yep. This is one less suitor for Malik Monk. Coming up next, Caitlin Clark, quote unquote, snubbed from the Team USA roster. I'm sick of this anyway, but we got no choice. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Subscribe to Sactown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sactown Sports.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
At the Good Feet store, we take pain very seriously. Whether in the foot, knee, hip, or back, Good Feet makes over 300 styles, flexibilities, and sizes of pain-relieving arch supports. With 26 bones, 30 joints, and over 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments in each foot, a lot can go painfully wrong. So there's a trained arch support specialist at each Good Feet store to give you a precision fit. Come in for a free fitting and test walk. No appointment necessary. Good Feet arch supports are HSA, FSA eligible.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Sacramento, Dirks Bentley is coming to town.
Hey y'all, this is Dirks Bentley.
Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park 2. And he's bringing some friends.
This is Bonley. Take my hand, let me make you mine.
Paige Dasha, Kelsey Hart, and more. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets before they sell out at CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Hyatt Vacation Club and Xfinity.
I remember as if it were yesterday. I reached down to move a nightstand and was astonished at the weight of the piece. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. At that moment, I instantly recognized the difference between Naturewood's quality furniture that will last a lifetime versus lesser quality furniture found elsewhere. Now, I suppose there's a huge difference in what you'd put in your first apartment and what you would live with in the comfort of your own home. Right now, Naturewood Home Furnishings Made in USA sale is a great time to fill your home with solid, superior quality furniture to reflect your own love for life. With brands like Sam Moore, Stanton, Stickley, Hilltop Hickory, Simply Amish, and many more, Naturewood Home Furnishings has tables, chairs, couches, and, yes, nightstands, and more at their Made in USA sale. Find furniture that will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. KHTK-AM Sacramento. KYMX HD2 Sacramento. Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Chris finishing up from that Warriors plus minus with Marcus Thompson, Tim Kawakami, and friend of the show, Anthony Slater. Their potential trade targets: Karl Anthony Towns, Kyle Kuzma, Alex Caruso.
Oh, hold on.
If they just add Alex Caruso, I mean, what are we talking about here?
In terms of like their ceiling, or
I mean, as far as what the Warriors need, I do think they need more than Alex Caruso. Zach LaVine not on that list because they can't take on that money.
I think Alex Caruso is quite an impact player personally. I think he's the kind of guy who can make you into, I'm not going to say the Warriors could be a contender, but like that's a guy who you add him into your team and you're going to be a lot better because of it. I mean, if the Warriors get him, yeah, I mean, that's a really good replacement for Clay for sure. It's a great defender to have, that's kind of replacing the old school, hey, Clay guards the other team's best ball handler. Right. You have an answer to that. You still got GP2. I definitely think the Caruso thing is probably their best move because they wouldn't have to give up a ton either. So that'd be the route that I would go if I were them.
Right. And obviously people are going to think that they need more. I think fans are going to think that they need more. Even if you add Alex Caruso to the Kings, I think that the Kings would be a lot better. So he is an impact player, and that's why the Bulls have been a little bit, I would say, coy with how they have kept him, and we'll see if the Warriors make a move. I think these are all three players, to the larger point, that everybody is interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is interested in all these three players. So again, some of the teams that at least when the Warriors were good, you didn't have to, when they had Durant, you didn't really have to worry about them trying to get anybody else.
Right.
Now with the Warriors not making the playoffs themselves, they're also going to be looking to improve. And I'll tell you this much, and I'm gonna be completely honest with our listeners, our texters, our Sack chatters. I do not want to hear how unfair it is if the Warriors end up getting Kyle Kuzma because of how poorly we've seen so many texters and callers and even commenters on our YouTube videos after we post and they get cut and we post them as certain segments. I don't want to hear it from Kings fans because nobody wants Kyle Kuzma. A lot of you do not want Kyle Kuzma. So if he goes to the Warriors, I don't want to hear one person say, how could they do unfair, blah, 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 blah. You could be wrong and say, oh, my goodness, they got Kyle Kuzma. They're not going to be anything. And if the Warriors end up being good, then that's one thing. But I don't want to hear any complaints because y'all been talking crazy on Kyle Kuzma lately.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, definitely there's been a percentage of Kings fans that have been pretty vocal about not wanting Kuzma, but I do think that there's also a big percentage of Kings fans that would welcome Kuzma, that understand that he's, especially for what the asking price is going to be, is probably one of the best value guys that you can go out and get and potentially has the biggest ceiling. So, fans will be mad at what they will, and there's no accountability on their end, but we got receipts on our end. So, we're fully in on the Kyle Kuzma. Definitely is going to make a positive impact.
Well, we will see where he goes and the other trade targets as well. Let's hear from, this is Shams, Chris. So Caitlin Clark snubbed from the Team USA roster for the Olympics. Another huge moment in the Caitlin Clark saga. It's leading sports shows around the nation again. This is getting to a political level now, and this whole thing is out of control. Let's hear from Shams breaking down Caitlin Clark not making the team.
That's the big news, right? The 12 women that made this roster, led by Asia Wilson, Brianna Stewart, Diana Taurasi. Look at this group. This is a supremely talented group. The U.S. women have won gold every Olympic since 1996. And this roster obviously is prepped and primed to do so again this year. But yeah, no Caitlin Clark. I'm told Caitlin Clark and Brianna Jones of Connecticut are top the alternates list for Team USA if there is needed to be a replacement. But this is a supremely talented roster. I definitely think we have to keep the focus on the women that made the team. But obviously, people will talk about Caitlin Clark not being on the team. She missed their training camp a couple months ago, obviously with the NCAA Final Four.
The question becomes whether or not this is a fumble for Team USA. Obviously, they've had a ton of success. And I'm just to say this, Chris, for the sake that all that is good in this world, I can't have Team USA lose in the Olympics.
Oh, my
I can't.
Gosh.
I cannot.
Can you imagine?
I cannot.
The amount of – yeah, you're right. I didn't even factor that into my thought process, but – until I take the day off.
No, yeah,
because I don't want to hear. I won't take the day. I just won't listen to anything because it's going to be terrible. I mean, and not even a high. It's just I don't even want to think about it.
It won't happen.
It's there's no way. I mean, there's no way. The U.S. women's basketball team has been maybe the most dominant Olympic group. Like they do not lose at all. I don't even know if they ever have not received gold since they've added it. But man, I mean, it has been crazy just the amount of people that have came out and have said just how ridiculous this is, how crazy it is, and even from the viewership standpoint, I don't get that, Alan. I don't get it because the Team USA doesn't care about the viewers. They're not like it's not the NBA. It's not like it's tied all into each other. They're just sending a team. They don't care if eyeballs are going to be down. Now, of course, for exposure reasons and the bigger picture and all that stuff, of course, that's a different conversation. But I just don't get it, man. I don't understand why. I mean, I get why people are upset. But when you look at the roster itself, I mean, we do this with all-star teams all the time. Who are we taking off? Diana Taurasi is the one that I am most okay taking off. And she's possibly, you could argue, the greatest women's basketball player of all time. And so I'm going to give her a pass.
And she's white. So this whole idea of it being a race thing, you can't go white for white. So what black player are you?
No, I'm serious.
But I'm serious.
No, you're not. You are serious. You are serious. Yes, absolutely.
This is what people are saying. There is an agenda against Caitlin Clark because she is straight, white, and pretty.
Yes.
That is what people are saying.
Forget Sabrina Ionescu. Forget Brianna Stewart. Forget Kelsey Plum.
That's what people are saying.
No. I mean, and honestly, the thing that nobody wants to talk, the real problem, honestly, is Team USA. And on the men's side, too, they do the same thing because they only care about you showing up. Shams buried the lead there by saying Caitlin couldn't make the Team USA practices earlier because she was in the Final Four. That is all the men's side care about is, okay, Drew Holiday, you did the FIBA for us. We're going to give you a better shot over De'Aaron Fox of making this Team USA team
or Halliburton
because you were willing to play with us in FIBA, and we're going to reward that. This to me is all, I mean, it is political, but it's not the politics that people want to talk about. It's the fact that Team USA really only cares about you showing up and having a commitment to it. And I know Caitlin's done the U18s and all those things, but they really, really value the showing up at all times. And I know Caitlin had a reason for it, but I do think a big part of the reason she's not on I guarantee if she would have been able to make those practices, she probably makes the team.
Christine Brennan, who had a lot to say, USA Today columnist, she said this. Two other sources, both longtime U.S. basketball veterans with decades of experience in the women's game, told USA Today Sports Friday that concern over how Clark's millions of fans would react to what would likely be limited playing time on a stacked roster was a factor in decision-making. If true, that would be an extraordinary admission of the tension that this multi-million-dollar sensation who signs autographs for dozens of children before and after every game has caused for the old guard of women's basketball. The two people spoke on condition of anonymity because of the sensitivity of this matter. I will say this.
I don't know if that makes sense.
I will say this. If Team USA has won gold every year since 1996.
Something like that, yeah.
Then there probably have been a lot of blowouts.
Yes,
and you could probably get Caitlin in during the blowouts. If you have a team that is just dominating, right? Even the craziest Caitlin Clark fans, or there's something else kind of masquerading as Caitlin Clark fans, even those crazos can at least admit, okay, well, you're winning by 20.
Right.
Why do you change anything? So with all that and with everything I just said about swapping out and everything like that, Caitlin Clark should be on this roster, in my opinion. I would have put her on this roster because I do think it helps to keep eyeballs on women's basketball as a whole. And it's the same thing as recruiting, Chris, whether it's, well, who was it, Dame Lillard or whoever it was, Ja Morant, you're going to see Caitlin. Caitlin's not playing, but you just watch the game anyway since you're already there. The game becomes a blowout. Caitlin gets in.
Sure.
I personally think that it would have helped women's basketball. We'll never know. But personally, because of, and I get it, that's whoever you, and I'm not saying I know the person. If you say Allen, okay, who you take off, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's why I'm not going to put my sword in the sand and say, I'm going to stick up. This is my take. That's just my opinion. If there was somebody, and it wouldn't be Diana Taurasi because of how decorated she is, but if there was somebody that was a bit borderline, maybe there wasn't, but if there was, I would have put Caitlin simply because I do think it keeps eyeballs on the sport. But based on straight basketball, if this was their decision based on straight basketball, which it was, I can't hate on them, but I can understand why people are saying you would have gotten more eyeballs if Caitlin just being there.
Yeah, I just would push back and say Team USA is not in the business of eyeballs. They're in the business of winning gold medals.
Well, they're not connected.
And what happens if Caitlin's on the team and then this is the year they don't win the gold? We presented it the other way, but what about that way? You know, like then it's a conversation of should she have been on the team? And I guess you'd rather have. Maybe I would rather have that conversation.
Well, then the conversation is, bring her off the bench. You're losing, or it's she's not even on the. It's a lose. It's kind of a lose-lose. If they lose, it's a lose-lose.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Either way,
100%.
If they lose, it's cooked.
Yes.
Right. So let's just understand that.
Right.
If they win, it's just a miss. Some people would see it as a missed opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. No, and I get it. I definitely get it. I understand why people are upset. I just hate if that report is true that those two sources said, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like why they're not concerned about viewership or anything like that. And I would assume that Caitlin Clark fans would just want to see her in general.
This sounds those sound like opinions.
Yeah,
Those sound like opinions.
No, it wouldn't make sense.
Coming up next, we continue the conversation. A former Raider announces his retirement, and a current Niner might want to get paid. Everybody needs to get paid. I need to get paid. You need to get paid. Who wants to get paid? We tell you who when we return. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The only place you'll find De'Aaron Fox is Sactown Sports.
Spins away from the defender. In the paint. Soft floater. That's a great play by De'Aaron Fox.
Hey, Sacramento. It's De'Aaron Fox, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
My good friends, Dr. Jack Friedlander and Dr. Pash in Roseville and in San Francisco are offering not only confidence, not only security, but also the ability, if you ain't insecure, to go from the roster to the all-star team. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about UpsizeMatters.com. Time after time, vote after vote, circumference, or as we call it, girth, is consistently ranked as the most important attribute. And Dr. Jack and Dr. Pash can give you a free consultation. The procedure can be done on the same day as your consultation with immediate results. It's non-surgical. It's virtually pain-free, safe, effective, long-lasting, semi-permanent, and doctor-performed. For more information, go to UpsizeMatters.com. Go to UpsizeMatters.com. Make that change. Make the all-star team. Get your girth on.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Caitlin Clark snub. I think she should have been on the team, man. But I told you, I'm so tired of this.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's definitely a lot. I guess it's.
I'm Jimmy Butler after the 2020 finals.
Just exhausted.
Just
leaning on the scores table. I mean, I'm getting there, man. I really am. And, it's I don't know if it's going to go anywhere anytime soon either. I think the only thing that can make the conversation around Caitlin Clark change is if they start winning, and then it actually becomes like a conversation of where does she rank? And, can they win it all? Those kind of things. I think the fact that they are, I don't even know what their record is. I think they're 1 or 2 and 8 or 9 or something like that. I think people are trying to figure out how can we still talk about her even though her team is trash and she's averaging like 18 points a game or whatever. And this is not it. Let me tell you, this is not the way to have the conversation. I am definitely getting sick of it. And, this is from somebody who actually wants to have women's basketball conversations, but these are not the conversations that I think should be had and need to be had. So,
well, tune in for the next Caitlin Clark news that'll probably drop later today. I tell you, Chris, I woke up. What was that, Saturday when that news broke?
It was
Sasha,
I think that
and
was Sasha
Caitlin.
and Caitlin. Yeah,
it was just a nightmare for me, and I see this, and I just
shooter
see
Saturday.
I just see the think pieces just rolling out for Caitlin on both sides.
I know,
and I did my video for Sasha, then I said I can't look at this.
I know. I was like, I'm seeing like clips of Chris Broussard having. I'm like, isn't it a Saturday?
Yeah.
Like, I thought these people are off. Like,
Right.
what's going on?
Yeah,
Do they literally
I
go
just-
in just to give these takes?
Yeah, and it's people. It's enough. On both sides. Just stop it. Just stop it. Well, Darren Waller says stop it.
Stop
to
it.
his career, and he put out a video. Here's the audio from that video of him announcing his retirement.
Clear, I almost just lost my life, and I don't know if I really feel like if I would have died that I would have felt great about how my life was going if I died at the time. I'm doing something that I found a lot of joy in and have had amazing moments with, but the passion has slowly been fading. I've made the decision that I'll be retiring from the NFL. There's eternally grateful for the game of football. I wouldn't be able to have this conversation or to think things through or be self-reflective if it wasn't for an opportunity to save my life and go to rehab, which the NFL offered me. They also gave me an opportunity to, reestablish myself, to, come back into the world and do something productive, provide an example, be a leader, be a difference maker, in my craft, but also just in the day-to-day wherever I go. I mean, all the teams I played for, Baltimore taking a chance on me with all the red flags I even had coming out of college with, and can't say enough about the Raiders, Oakland, and Las Vegas. Thank you to the Giants. Grateful for all the guys there, all the coaches there. I love y'all. Appreciate you. And that's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, that's really sad, obviously, and really, really scary too. I didn't hear about this. I guess he just revealed this near-death experience in that retirement video. I'm reading up on it right now. It said Waller, whose overdose in 2017 scared him into sobriety, said he called 911 from his North Jersey apartment last November because of difficulty breathing. He feared for his life again. Symptoms began when he was driving home from shooting a video for his music career. Hopefully it wasn't that terrible one we saw the other day. And he believed that he had contracted COVID for the third time. But once he got back to his apartment, he, quote, began shaking uncontrollably and, quote, losing consciousness. He said, quote, I kept nodding off and couldn't breathe. So I ended up calling 911. I'm thinking I'm talking clearly on the phone, but they can't make out much of what I'm saying. And essentially says, I'm there breathing deeply, and in between each breath, I'm yelling help. And just sounded like a really scary situation. So clearly, I think this is mainly health health driven and not just mental health, but it does sound like he's having a lot of scary physical health problems. And of course, when you're in the NFL, you're banging your head, you're getting, Andrew Luck pierced a lung. I think, if you have any sort of concerns about your actual health, definitely good to hear him taking that as the priority. And man, retiring at age 31 is just crazy, but it's becoming more and more common in the NFL. Who is that Niners linebacker, Chris, I can't remember his name.
Chris Borland.
Borland. Thank you. Yes, I was going to say Bozeman. Borland, who retired really early for head trauma reasons, but just scary, man. And definitely hope Darren Waller can find a career post NFL.
Yeah, and things have gotten a little squirrely with the rapping and everything like that. But all jokes aside, for Darren Waller to make it from where he was, real. I mean, that's a W in itself. And I know even Raider fans were a little bit confused about how to feel. That last season wasn't great. There was the injury, and some fans felt like he could have been out there, but he wasn't out there. Then he gets traded for a third rounder. So I know it was a little bit checkered with the Raiders fans, but he had some good times. He had some really good times with the Raiders.
Would you say he was like at his peak, top 3 tight end in the league?
He was in that conversation.
He really was.
It would be, oh yeah, Kittle.
It was
Kelsey,
kind of right before Kelsey popped.
Right. It was Kittle, Kelsey, but don't forget about Darren Waller.
Especially receiving.
But he was ascending.
Yeah.
And then just kind of plateaued and went to. It wasn't a lot of time, and then he went to the Giants. The Giants,
weird
and
too,
it just didn't really work out for him. But we wish him the best in all of his future endeavors. Coming up next, somebody from the Niners wants to get paid, and there's a report that Brandon Ayuk has an offer. It's a little bit lower than he would like, and they're going to try to fix the details in the coming weeks. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
It's all on his shoulders. Rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
At Ashton & Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
The best action, that's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
The IRS deadline has come and gone. So do you owe money to the IRS? If so, you need an ally. Whether you owe the IRS $6,000 or $600,000, whether your tax problems are personal or business, the professionals at Allies Tax Relief are ready to step in and negotiate your fresh start with the IRS. Here's a happy customer of Allies Tax Relief.
Before calling Allies Tax Relief, I feared the IRS would take all of my assets. I owed them over $562,000. Thankfully, I was referred to Allies and called them for help. They ultimately saved my life from uncertainty. Allies negotiated my giant tax debt to an unbelievable $1,500. They are professionals and they fight the fight for their clients.
Allies Tax Relief will protect your assets from being seized and your paycheck from being garnished. Call right now for your free consultation. 800-296-0772. That's 800-296-0772. Or visit AlliesTaxRelief.com.
Maida Chevy saves you $12,000 off MSRP on every new Half-Ton Silverado LT Turbo Max. In stock after rebates. Always 5 to choose from.
Exclusive. All in-stock pricing at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See deal for details. N7124.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Keep your family cool and comfortable this summer with Bell Brothers' best summer ever financing event. When you replace your AC system, we're offering 0 payments, 0 interest for 6 months on approved credit, then low fixed rate thereafter. That's right, 0 payments, 0 interest for 6 months on any new AC system. It's an incredible offer on an incredible new AC system, but only for a limited time. This offer is also available on any plumbing, water heater, or insulation projects over $1,000. So call Bell Brothers now. Your family will thank you because they'll be cool and comfortable. But you have to hurry. Our offer for 0 payment, 0 interest for 6 months, then low fixed rate thereafter ends soon. Estimates and second opinions are free. So call now to keep your family cool and comfortable during Bell Brothers' best summer ever event. Our number is 916-444-1234, or find us online at theNoSurpriseGuys.com. That's theNoSurpriseGuys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
On the table for Ayuk, but obviously he hasn't signed yet. Want to work out some details there. We will tell you all about it. But first, Tin's been hanging on the line. Let's get to Tin. Tin, Stiles and Watkins, what you got for us?
Hey guys, I have something. Can we show some love for Darren Waller?
Yes, sir. Yep, we just did.
Yeah.
So as a Giants fan, I think for Darren Waller to be brought in as the tight end is a huge honor. Think about this, because Eli Manning, when he was playing, he had an Iron Man streak of consecutive starts, getting beat up, and of course, interception rate, a lot of, seasons you want to forget too. But he was always healthy, and that's thanks to the line, thanks to his monstrous tight ends blocking for him. The previous tight end, Evan Ingram, he was handsy, he was physical. We had a backup, really nice, Will Tye, so shout out to the Giant and the Darren Waller for his time with the Giants.
Yeah, definitely, Tin, and thank you for the call. I think he was a bit, I don't know about underrated. I think right when he was about to get properly rated is when he plateaued a little bit, but, can't say enough about him overcoming what he did.
Yeah.
And yeah, now the Giants try to move forward with their guys and figure out that situation and get back on the right side of things in an NFC East that's not going to get any easier. From Mike Silver, Chris, the latest on Brandon Ayuk's contract situation. I'm hearing the 49ers offer is in the $26 million range, which certainly is not Justin Jefferson money, nor should it be. But it's closer to that Devontae Smith, Amon-Ra St. Brown, that next tier down. And some people are saying it's a bit of a low ball offer.
Really?
And other people think it sounds like they're, quote unquote, getting close, right? And I guess close. If he wants to get to that $26, $28 million range.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that sounds about fair to me. I mean, maybe this is, again, I need to recalibrate my thinking, and the receiver market might become the new quarterback market where, I think Jamar Chase is up for a new deal next year. It'll probably be him that then becomes the highest paid receiver. I don't think so. I still think Justin Jefferson's going to hold that, but at the very least, maybe the highest non-Jefferson paid receiver. So maybe it is just kind of a new way of thinking. And Ayuk will be the highest paid next season, or besides Jefferson next season. And then, it just kind of leapfrogs and leapfrogs and leapfrogs. And then at some point he becomes the 8th highest paid receiver, and it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
That would be my thought.
I mean, I'm looking at this, Chris, and
it sounds fair to me already.
I know,
26 mil
and it's going to
sounds
feel
fair.
even more fair. I'm pretty sure when you hear the names.
Okay.
Justin Jefferson, 35 a year.
That's almost
AJ
off the
Brown, 32 a year. Amon-Ra St.
that's
Brown, 30 a year.
Okay.
Tyreek Hill, 30 a year. Jalen Waddle, 28.2 a year.
Okay.
Devontae Adams, 28 a year. Then it skips 27 to Cooper Kupp at 26.7 a year. So if Ayuk if I'm fighting and I'm Ayuk and I get between Devontae Adams and Cooper Kupp for 27, if I'm Ayuk, that's not disrespectful to me.
Yeah.
It's
Maybe
not
it's
your
the Waddle.
fault.
Yeah, it might be the Waddle deal that's just messing.
But that's what I would say.
Yeah.
If I'm the Niners, look, man, we think you're better than we think. If he comes in and says, "Well, Waddle got this," if I'm John Lynch, I say, "Well, that's the Dolphins.
Their problem.
We wouldn't pay Waddle that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna pay you this,
but we're still paying you more than Devontae.
Yes.
We're almost paying you as much as Tyreek.
Exactly. We think that's
of it that way. Yeah.
We think that's a bad deal.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know what that got to do with us having a conversation, because I don't know how many people would have paid Waddle that type of money.
No, that's crazy. And I didn't even realize AJ Brown's making that kind of bread. That's crazy to pay him 32 mil. Like, AJ Brown's cool, but I maybe have him. He might be the next above Ayuk, but I don't think I would have him head and shoulders above everybody else. That's kind of crazy to me. But yeah, I mean, I could see, especially after those numbers, if you're Ayuk, maybe you are just hard and you say, I'm gonna take 28, and that's if we can get to 28, then I'm happy. It sounds like you said. It sounds at the very least like they're close, and I would imagine the deal gets done. If they are really that close, I would guess that a deal probably gets done instead of not.
Both sides could be seen as petty in this situation.
For sure.
And I think anything can happen. Look, man, you've seen Shark Tank. There are those times where they say, will you go to –
That's true.
Will you do it at 5%? Yeah. And Mr. Wonderful says no.
Yeah. Not 6%. Only no, but I'm out. For asking that,
yes,
I'm done. We're done here. We're done here.
Right. It was a stretch for me at 6%.
Yeah.
Now you're trying to take advantage of me at 5%.
Yeah. And that can go on either way. It could be the Ayuk asking for too much, and the Niners saying, look, we're not going to pay you $30 million. If you want $30 million and you're only going to accept $30 million, then we're out, and we're going to have to seek a trade. Or it could be, it could be the other way around. So it definitely could happen. It definitely could. But the thing that I was thinking about over the weekend too is, and I understand Ayuk, it's more of the principle of he wants the ball, but we're on the best team in football right now. Like, asking for a trade in nickel and diming when you could be in arguably the best situation in football.
28 and go where? You want to go to the Titans?
Exactly. And that's exactly what I would tell. I would say, you want to make 28 million? Okay. I hear Nashville's getting a beautiful place to hang out.
Yeah.
You go hang out at that new football
bachelorette
field,
parties.
All of it, yeah.
Be careful.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm. See what the other side is like.
Some hot chicken.
When all you know is the Niners in that situation, the grass ain't always greener.
That's a great point.
The grass is not always greener on the other side.
From ownership to the way that they carry their organization. Be careful what you wish.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're talking if 26 is really out there and somebody thinks that's quote unquote low ball, if there is a LA tax, right? Is it fair to say that, and maybe Ayuk feels like, well, other people didn't have to take it. Is it fair to say that there is a best team tax?
Yeah, right.
And
there should be.
You can get 28 on one of these bad teams, but 26 is the best we can do, and you're in the dance every year.
Yeah. So you're going to tell Brock that he shouldn't get paid max money, but Ayuk can? Like, I don't see how that's, how's that fair? How's that?
And I know the market changes, but hey, man, Debo getting paid 23.8.
Yeah. You make him way more than Debo.
So it's not as if Debo was making 28,
right?
Then there'd be a different conversation. But Debo's making 23.8.
Yeah.
This is the tax of being on the best team. Right. It's a $2 million tax. I know it's not my money, but we're talking about a $2 million tax, unless if you are hard set on thinking that you are 30 mil. And again, not my money, but 26 mil versus 30 mil. And you want to go to Tennessee or one of these you want to go to Carolina? Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead. Go Cook. Hey, you want touches?
Yeah. You
go ahead. You'll get a ton.
You're going to get all
they
the ones you want.
They going to need you.
Yeah. So if that report is true, and I know Mike Silver, SF Chronicle, does some great work. You better be careful. You better be careful.
Mm-hmm.
You better be careful because I think there's a best team tax, and you get to kick it on the best team in a great situation in the Bay Area. You're from the West Coast,
and they can find somebody else to give that money to.
Yeah, you know? and by the way,
plenty of other options.
And you said Chris as well, and a lot is coming out. So we're trying to break this down fairly quickly. So SF Niners, Brad, SF Niners,
friend of the show,
big friend of the show,
big friend of the show.
He is fairly close with Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah.
And it seems like they are, I don't know if the they is Brad or if this is Ayuk or some combination. They have created a new account, or a new account has been created called Ayuk Daily. Okay. So SF Niners, which is Brad, reports Brandon Ayuk doesn't want to go anywhere. I want to be a 49er beyond this season. And that's Brandon Ayuk tells Ayuk Daily. My home is here. My family is here. Everything I know is here. I want to be a 49er beyond this season. Brandon Ayuk tells Ayuk Daily.
Is this your conspiracy you're kind of piecing together here?
No, I mean, I don't know what the conspiracy is.
Okay.
He told an account that's dedicated to Ayuk news about him, but Brad, I think, was the first person to report it. So I'm thinking there's some,
connection.
Hey, I'm trying to make Ayuk Daily pop.
Yeah. Well, I think we need to talk to Brad. Potentially.
We need to
Sounds
get
like
Brad
we
on
need to talk to
figure
Brad
out,
this week.
Are you connected to Ayuk Daily?
Yes. I think that,
be like if Fox News all of a sudden started telling us, like, oh, yeah, De'Aaron's signature shoe is coming out next week.
Fox News? Like De'Aaron Fox News?
Fox Muse.
Oh, okay.
Muse,
Okay.
Like the Muse accounts, yes.
Also, to add into this whole thing, you got Trent Williams with all these rumors about a contract restructure. He was just going to retire a year ago.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought this season was going to be his last season.
Yeah.
But now it's being reported that he wants a new contract with the Niners. So I guess he's going to want more money. I guess he's just seeing everyone get paid. I don't know if that's going to happen at his age. I know he's great still, but I think he's 36. He's older. So that's just another wrench. It just sucks, but it's the reality of the game. So,
well, it's one of those things where he's probably heard people on this show. And I see Jay back there behind the glass. I heard Jay last week, not just Jay, a lot of Niner fans like Jay, yourself, Nate, everybody keeps saying, and he's probably hearing it himself, Trent Williams. Oh, well, Trent Williams could be a 49er as long as he wants. Trent Williams probably saying, okay. All right, bet.
That's the Klay Thompson thing pretty much from earlier, right? You're like, Klay's going to retire as a Warrior. He wants to do it's a little different because Trent's still playing at a high level, just not that same level. But I don't think that's true at all. I don't think he can just be a Niner for as long as he wants.
Well, I think that was the idea was we're going to just say that because he's done soon.
Yes.
But now that he may want a new contract, well, I mean, we wanted you to be a Niner forever, but we thought you were done.
Depends on the price, right? Like that's where we're at. It depends on, and then you throw guaranteed money in the situation, and it just gets a little dicey.
You've got to start running out of money at some point here.
I guess.
They just keep paying everybody.
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought there was a salary gap here.
Well, there doesn't seem to be
it doesn't
for the 49ers. Trent Williams, by the way, that's what's so funny. This is about, guys, he makes $20 million, base salary this coming season. When he's 37, he's making $22 million. And in 2026, he's making $32 million. It jumps up from 22 to 32. So I guess maybe, I don't know what maybe he's looking for a higher base salary because he might not make it to that 2026. So it never ends for the Niners when you have a good team. That is what tends to happen. Coming up next, crosstalk with the Drive Guys. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Kevin Herter plays here.
It's Herter. He's been hot. He fires. He's still hot. Kevin Herter from downtown has a 15-point first quarter.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
The Gold Rush Classic is a celebrity pro-am golf tournament, a celebrity skins challenge, a $1 million hole-in-one contest, a celebrity draft party, an awards party, an incredible farm-to-fork dinner, and a fabulous concert under the stars. The Gold Rush Classic raises money for Make-A-Wish, Jordan's Guardian Angels, First Tee of Sacramento, and other worthwhile children's charities. It's happening August 22nd and 23rd at Rancho Murrieta. Imagine playing golf with an All-Pro or Hall of Famer like Brown, Fernandez, Ostertag, Theus, Jackson, Polynice, Sharp, and our own Greg Vaughn. The Gold Rush Classic offers this exciting opportunity, along with a chance to win the Rancho Murrieta Homes and Land $1 million Swing for Charity Hole-in-One contest. Rancho Murrieta Homes and Land is a full-service award-winning realtor and a proud sponsor of the Gold Rush Classic. For sponsorship information, visit goldrushclassic.org. That's goldrushclassic.org.
Progressive asks, what do a middle school slumber party,
Let's stay up all night. Yeah.
a sleep-deprived girl, an early morning paper route, and a poorly thrown rolled-up newspaper have in common?
Hey, my window!
They can become a fast-breaking news story.
Sorry, Mr. Thompson.
Bundle your home and auto with Progressive for great savings and round-the-clock protection.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Want to keep your gas-powered engines running like new? Stable's proprietary formulas are proven by third-party testing to outperform the competition in keeping fuel fresh, preventing corrosion, and cleaning the entire fuel system. With Stable, you can have confidence you are doing the right thing for your engine's long-term health. Just pour into your gas can or fuel tank, then top off with fresh fuel. At every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable. Available where fuel additives are sold.
Go for the gold May 1st through July 27th during Sky River Casino's $1 million Road to Glory giveaway. Play daily for a chance to win free play, cash, or your choice of a Lincoln Nautilus, GMC Sierra, or Ford Mustang GT every Saturday. Get 100 bonus entries by earning 100 tier credits every Monday and Tuesday, plus one free daily entry at our promotional kiosks. Victory could be yours during the $1 million Road to Glory giveaway at Sky River Casino. Visit skyriver.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Shop Folsom Lake Kia for special offers right now. I'm Coach Doug Christie urging you to visit my friends at Folsom Lake Kia and save big on your next new or certified pre-owned vehicle right now. Visit FolsomLakeKia.com.
Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing strategies that deliver results. On your next campaign, aim higher. Go to aimyourdigital.com and get started today. aimyourdigital.com.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Joined by Whitey Gleason. Whitey, before we get in a little bit of this Sasha Vezenkov talk, because he might be doing a little bit of a victory lap today. And we were also discussing during the break that there was another report, and Chris and I will kind of look at the other side of this. So there was another report about Sasha.
Yeah, they came out almost the same time.
But it got bulldozed a little bit by the other report. And I'll let you tell it. Matteo Andriani said this was from the Kings, pretty much.
Yeah, that's why I really appreciate Jason Anderson today in the B. His story was there's two stories. There's two sides to this. There's conflicting reports. But Matteo Andriani 2 days ago tweeted, Sasha Vezenkov has been informed that he's not on Sacramento Kings plans for the next season, I'm told. I know there's a, sick, but that's the way he tweeted it. Vezenkov priority to stay in the NBA. Kings will try to trade him. If that's true, it would suggest to me that perhaps the Kings already have something that they feel like that's probably going to happen. And they went to him and said, look, just so you know, you're not going to be, thanks for everything.
So you're not saying, you're not saying this is in cahoots together. You're not saying this is hey, Sasha, this is what we want to do. This is a deal we have in place with you. This is, hey, Sasha, we have some plans for this offseason, and it's just going to make life tougher on you. So if you do want to explore some things.
I don't know. To me, it doesn't make sense to tell somebody that unless you've got something in place.
Right.
It's already like a done deal.
Right. So basically, hey, Sasha, but this is what we're thinking. Go chew on that. He chewed on it and came back and said, all right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it doesn't make sense to me that he could come out to the Kings and say, I want out of here. I can understand why he'd feel that way.
None of it made sense.
He doesn't have any, he can't do that. He can't really force them to do anything.
Yeah, if I had to guess, I mean, I would imagine that it's probably, like I said earlier, I just think it's a situation where it was probably in the exit interviews, as they tend to do. They go over the season and they tell you what they want you to work on over summer and what their plans are for you. And I'd assume it went like hey, this season did not go, I think, how either of us planned for it to go. I honestly don't even think that they said, Sasha, we're going to trade you. I think it was probably a lot softer than that and said, like, hey, we're going to explore other options for you. We think we can probably get something for you, and we think it would be good for your career as well. I just don't think that they outwardly said, we're going to trade you this offseason. You will not, don't worry, you're not going to be back in the building. I think Sasha probably heard it, and then as the months have happened since the season ended, I'm sure it ended up snowballing, and the game of telephone became, yeah, I'm not going to be there next season. I'm out. I personally am taking myself out of this situation.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, if you've ever gone somewhere different for a job or didn't have a choice and had to go because your parents moved or whatever it is, there's just a lot that goes into things. And to do all that and then on choice, and then on, well, sure, and money talks, but to do all that and then not get any playing time and not really after all of the courting and everything like that, to get there and then say, we don't really have a spot for you, or we're going to try to fit you in here. I mean, if we did a blame pie, Chris, for the Sasha Vezenkov
Chris
situation,
doesn't like pie.
I don't.
Well, that's why we do it. So I think it would be, yeah, Sasha's going to, you know, how we are on this show. You're going to have to take responsibility for it yourself. But yeah, I do think the organization deserves a little bit of blame too, because I'm just not really sure, Whitey.
Well, how can you blame anybody? We don't know what happened. I don't.
Well, we're here
for the Vezenkov thing not working. The organization deserves some blame. I mean, I don't think they would just get rid of an asset when they're struggling for, you know, more talent unless they knew. I don't think they'd tell them you're not in our plans unless they had something in place. But the whole thing is a little, you know, this whole season, like you guys have been saying, this whole off season has been a little, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what?
Do you feel like you've been vindicated by the fact that, you know, you were as early as maybe anyone in NBA history on the are we sure Sasha's going to be a fit here? I mean, Whitey, you were saying maybe we should think about trading him last offseason.
Before he got here,
before he even stepped foot in the States, Whitey was like, you know, are we sure? Because I mean, and you were really, I mean, all your reasons were right. You pretty much said, like, this doesn't really seem like the kind of guy Mike Brown would want. He's not a defender. And at the end of the day, the Kings have plenty of shooting. They kind of need defense. And I think that ended up playing out. Like, Sasha couldn't end up finding any time because they had Trey Lyles, and Sasha didn't really provide something that they didn't already have.
I just find myself lately just quoting Ellen Stiles all the time. What are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
Speaking of what are we doing, Whitey, what are we doing with Caitlin Clark being quote unquote snubbed? Were you moved at all in either direction when you got that news? I'm personally getting some Caitlin Clark fatigue, no fault of her own, but just from everybody. But what were your thoughts when you saw Caitlin Clark didn't make?
Who are you going to take off that team, Ellen?
I don't know. And you know what? Everyone that's complaining about it also doesn't know, but they're going to keep complaining about it. Because that's how it is right now.
At a 13th spot. That's what they should, just for Caitlin Clark.
Now we're talking.
Can we talk to the Olympic, the AOC, what do they call it?
They need Caitlin.
The IOC, thank you.
The Olympics need Caitlin. So I think that is a fine conversation.
Can she get her own country, maybe, you know? Can we figure that out? Just be the Iowa team or something against the world?
I think I saw someone said, well, you know, on the Dream Team, Christian Laettner was on there.
Well,
yeah, but he shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
I believe there's probably multiple people, but that was Stephen A. That was one of his talking points today. I will say Rancho Cordova, when I went to that semifinal game, when I went to that semifinal game, because I've been coaching Whitey, the hit doctor, We won Tournament of Champions, by the way. When I was at that game, some guy was walking by, older gentleman, and he had on a University of Iowa shirt. And it didn't necessarily say Caitlin Clark, but I mean, you just randomly see that, and
you just
big
wanted
Kittle
to,
fan.
You just wanted to,
Rancho.
you're just looking for an excuse to mention your team.
Yeah.
No, I already did that. I already did that earlier in the show, but I was in
kids credit, coach.
I am. But Rosemont, we were in Rosemont. This guy's wearing an Iowa shirt.
Do you tell the kids, I'm the hit doctor? Have you told the kids
No,
that?
I have not. Because they make fun of me.
No, because they already know.
Because they already know.
Doctor's bag and a stethoscope.
That's right.
Hey, kids.
Let me
doctor
diagnose your
here.
hit.
I make house calls.
Let me diagnose your hit. That's right. Look, Whitey, if you got the season coming up, I'll give you a discount. Give you a discount. You need to come to the hit doctor.
I do need the hit doctor in slow pitch softball.
There you go.
You never figure that out.
I'm just telling you right now. And the last but not least, Whitey, Brandon Ayuk, the reports came out that there seems to be an offer on the table already, and the question might be guaranteed money or whether or not they want to get him higher in that range. Right now, Brandon Ayuk, the offer is supposed to be, according to Mike Silver, around the range of $26 million a year. And some of the notable names around there, you have Devontae Adams at $28 million, and then under Devontae is Cooper Kupp at $26.7 million. Obviously, they signed their contracts at a different time, but above them, Jalen Waddle, who just signed $28.2, Tyreek Hill at $30, Amon-Ra St. Brown at $30, and then you have AJ Brown at $32 and Justin Jefferson at $35. Would you say 26 for Ayuk?
Low. That's low.
That's low to
Really?
you?
Yeah.
Even with we came up with the best team tax. What about the best team? The best team tax? Because we always
I'm sorry.
we always talk about the LA tax, right? And
Yeah.
how you're going to get paid a little more because LA. You're going to get paid a little less because you're on the best team. In the
I think
league.
it's low, but I will just say this. Jay has been from day one when we first, before the draft, whenever it was, we were first talking about Ayuk's going to get a new deal. Jay's been saying, I don't think he's worth what he's going to be
I'm right there with
looking
you,
for.
Jay.
He's been saying that since day one, and this drama continues.
If you want to get to if you have to get to 28 because Jalen Waddle is at 28.2, cool. But I don't know if I can give you 30 million. I don't know if I can give you 30 million, Brandon.
You know how Shanahan loves good blocking?
Sure
Here's
does.
looking at you. You say Kikuchi, the guy on the Blue Jays.
Oh my
What a block he put on Soderstrom yesterday.
Goodness
That was a
gracious.
tremendous block.
Dip the shoulder and everything. Talanoa Hufanga could never.
Yeah.
My
As soon as
goodness.
he sees that ball's coming in his direction, 3-point stance, and then look out.
It was almost Jason Kidd-esque with the hit me. Like, it was like, guy, that was the least smooth thing I've ever seen in my life.
Well, it was a smooth show, and that's how you want to get through Monday. Thank you to all the callers, texters, and the Sack Chatters. Thank you to Nate. You have the Drive Guys up next, so don't go anywhere. More Sasha Vezenkov talk, maybe a couple victory
Can I
laps.
tell you
by
what we'll
one
talk
Whitey.
about today? We'll talk about
Oh,
the
sure.
possibility of going out to Lifetime in Folsom and seeing Steph Curry and Kyle Draper on the same floor at the same time.
Let's go. I need to see that as well. Until tomorrow, secure the bag like the beam.